and we are thanking God for a brand new week. So you're looking at me and you're wondering, Charlie, so why is the guy dressed like this? And you know they wear socks too. Of course, you can't wear socks with what I'm wearing. You know, you're wearing these, if you know the name of the sandals I'm wearing, the traditional name, send me a WhatsApp on 055-556-1034, 055-556-1034. We are celebrating 20 years of the Asante Otumfuo on the Golden Stool, and this whole week we'll have that flavor for you. Wait till you see the women, Charlie. Wait till you see them. My own be nothing. Wait till you see them. They're coming, and they'll give you a nice little surprise about exactly what's going on. There's a big show for us, so we'll be looking into Ashanti culture and giving you some nuggets of information and wisdom. Talking about nuggets of wisdom, we have our wisdom nugget every morning in about 2 or 3 minutes from Dr. Kofi Osei, and he's talking about never giving up on your dreams. Never give up on your dreams. The founder of Caveman Watches, an Emmy Award winner, talked about how he started business with just 50 CDs, and now he has an award-winning brand. And if he had given up on his dreams, we wouldn't be wearing Caveman watches and looking at the time right now. So never give up on your dreams. That's what's going to be on the Wisdom Nugget in a short while. Those of you who had issues with asthma when you were growing up, how did it feel to have those attacks? I know one small boy when I was in secondary school who spent nights sitting up because that's the only way he could breathe well, you know, and unfortunately he passed. And asthma can be that deadly. What you need to know about asthma will be revealed on this show. Is it genetic? I used to have asthma when I was in primary school. My mother also had it, so I kept wondering, hey, did she pass it on to me? We get all the answers to all the questions about asthma on our health segment brought to you by Lufat in about 23 minutes. What else do we have for you today? There's a lot more. We're looking at the Ashanti Kingdom, a cultural heritage. So that's a conversation that you cannot afford to miss with Thelma and her guest, Yao Anochi Frimpong, a lawyer and a historian. That's something that you really want to keep your eyes and ears on for. And then what about appellations? You know, the praise singing that you hear in not just Ashanti culture, but in African culture. But today we are focusing on Ashanti culture. What's it all about? What does it signify? How do you learn it? All those questions will be answered on today's show. The show has that flavor, celebrating 20 years of Ashanti on the Golden Stool. WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. A lot in the news. Medina MP narrowly escapes arrest. West Hills Mall, China Mall. It's almost like a classical, but it's rocks there inside. Charlie, big rocks. People fighting on aeroplanes. Ghanaians think about trotro business, go to the plane top. Now they fight for plane inside. We'll give you the 411 on all of that, with all the sports news and everything that's trending online. You stay with us. This is #GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. I feel lonely because the women are not here, but I think they will appear pretty soon. It's not a prophecy, but they will appear. Before they appear, we have to have the wisdom nugget, and it's on never giving up on your dreams by Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi Imamwacho. Good morning. Welcome to the show. #GTV Breakfast.
What an exciting day to serve you the wisdom nugget for the day. A nugget a day keeps the problems away. Today, we're talking about something that will accelerate your life. Never give up on your dreams. I have had many dreams, and I have seen many of my dreams come to pass, and some exceed them. And I know you have a dream, and I know you may have exceeded some of your dreams, but there are yet a lot of dreams ahead of you. And I'm here to tell you today that you should never give up on your dreams, because dreams do come to pass. Never give up on your dream. I like what someone said. The person said, a dream is a vision you have when you're asleep. And a vision is a dream you have when you're awake. In other words, a dream and a vision are the same thing. A dream and a vision are a picture of the kind of future that you have ahead of you. It may be a building. It may be a business. It may be acquiring a degree or some level of education. It may be writing a book. It may be doing something good for someone. It may even be building an orphanage. You should never give up on that dream. It doesn't matter the situation and how and the lack of resources and all the things that seem to be contending with your dream. You should never give up on it. There are many people that have worked on their dreams for many years. And sometimes it looks like it's delaying and it's taking so much time, but you should never give up on your dream, especially if these things are true about your vision and your dream. Is your dream authentic? When I say the dream being authentic, I mean that dream is unique to you. Or are you following somebody else's dream? Or are you just trying to be like another person? That kind of a dream, you're going to struggle for a long time. But if that dream and that vision is authentic, you should never give up on it. If it's from your heart, if you have the talent for it, you have the passion for it, it's something you die to see materialize, never give up on it. Because one of these days, that dream is going to materialize before you. Another thing that is so important about a dream and about a vision is that it should be positive. No, there are people with dreams and visions that are so negative. Dreams and visions that if they actually execute those visions and dreams, other people are going to be destroyed. Imagine the dream and the vision of Hitler. Executing that vision killed millions of people. That's not the kind of dream and vision I'm talking about. I'm talking about a kind of positive dream like that of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, like that of Nelson Mandela, like that of the great leaders that dreamed and visioned liberty and freedom and the well-being of many people. If you have that kind of dream, you should never give up on it. Now, lastly, if you're going to see that dream happen, you need to have a plan, you need to have a strategy, and you need to work hard towards the execution and the fulfillment of that dream. You should never ever give up on your dream, because one of these days that dream is definitely going to come to pass. Dreams do materialize if you never give up on it. I wish you a fabulous day. Believe in your dream, because it is definitely going to come to pass. Have yourself a beautiful day as you see the materializing of all the big dreams and visions that you have for your life and for all the people around you. I'll see you again on the Wisdom Nugget for the day. See you again. See you again, and see you again.
Thanks for staying with us, and I'm sure you're wondering why I look so royal, calf. So you went back to career and I'm here.
Yeah, so Charlie, you must be very strong. That your left arm there.
This arm is effectively out of commission today.
I'll bring you some dumbbells tomorrow so you can do some.
Nope, this will be enough. My trainer will be proud of me because thank you.
And those sandals are by Savida Kente.
You should have seen everyone else trying to knock the nails down this morning. Oh, Savida Kente, thank you so much for my lovely look this morning. And we are celebrating Ashanti culture this week. So you'll be seeing a lot of us, all of us actually, wearing similar outfits and trying to portray the rich culture of the Ashanti people. Remember that this show is brought to you by kindness of Awake Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Savida Kente, thank you for my lovely outfit this morning. We'll be sitting down very soon to look at our health, and that segment will be brought to you by Lufat. Lufat is Africa's gift to the world from the Tobinco Group of Companies. It is suspension for children and tablets for adults. So when you have a confirmed case of malaria, tend to know other than Lufat. Okay, so we'll look into our social media trends this morning. And Kaf, top on my list is WhatsApp to stop working on 43 smartphone models from November. And I'm just reading this and I'm thinking some people will not be happy. So what types of smartphones would no longer be able to use WhatsApp from November? And we are in November. Today is the first day of the month. So users of 43 different models of smartphones will soon be unable to use the popular instant messaging app WhatsApp. On November 1, the Facebook-owned platform will stop working on phones that run on systems older than Android OS 4.1, Apple iOS 10, and iOS 2.5.1, according to its frequently asked questions segment. So if you have a phone that belongs to any of those categories, then it's not going to work.
Okay, I have a list.
Okay.
I have the list of the phones. So
share with us.
Apple users, watch out. iPhone 6, iPhone 6S Plus, iPhone SE, S for Savannah, E for Elubo. Android, you have the various LG phones, Lucid 2, Optimus F7, Optimus F5, Optimus L3 2, Dual Optimus L5, Best L5 2, Optimus L5, Dual Best L3, Optimus L7, Optimus Dual Best L7 2, Optimus 5.6, Enact Optimus F3, Best L4 2, Best L2 2, Optimus Nitro HD, Optimus 4X HD, and Optimus F3Q.
So all this Optimus, what is it?
It's a part of the LG brand. Then you have Huawei. We have Huawei, Samsung, ZTE, and Sony. So Huawei, Ascend G740, Ascend Mate, Ascend D Quad XL, Ascend D1 Quad XL, Ascend P1S, and Ascend D2. Now Samsung, these are the phones on which your WhatsApp will not work.
Okay.
Galaxy Trend Lite, Galaxy Trend 2, Galaxy S2, Galaxy S3 Mini, Galaxy X Cover 2, Galaxy Core, and Galaxy Ace 2. Now, the ZTE brand or ZTE, you have Grand S Flex, ZTE V956, Grand X Quad V987, and Grand Memo. And then Sony, you've got Xperia Miro, Xperia Neo L, and Xperia Arc S. And then finally, you have the other phones from lesser-known brands like Alcatel, Arcos 53 Platinum, HTC, Caterpillar, Lenovo. So you have to say goodbye to WhatsApp. It's a full list. Just go online and type, like I did, WhatsApp smartphone, and then just go into your search engine, and you have the list of all the brands that will not be using WhatsApp again.
I bet we are all glad that our WhatsApp are working this morning, all three of us.
Yeah, we know they in those.
So some tweets that we've come across: iPhone 6 users testing their WhatsApp features to see if they still work. People are just me. Look at that guy's face. I knew their day is coming. One iPhone 6 users laughed at Twitter. So
that looks like Zuma.
So I think this is the quick game. This one. Did you see yesterday? Yesterday was, I'll get to that. For the next game, player should use WhatsApp. Then if you are an iPhone 6 user, that would be your face. That's really funny.
Wow.
So these are some tweets. So we are making fun of all those whose WhatsApps are not working this morning.
No, mine is from today?
Yeah, 1st November is today.
Oh, wow.
So if you woke up or you got up in the middle of the night to do something and realized, no WhatsApp.
So all we can be sure is that whatever message comes through us on our WhatsApp number, it means that one you are working. Yes,
it means you don't have any of these phones.
Hello, Queen.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
It's the same today.
What's your stool name?
I'll consult international producer, yes.
You didn't stool name, man.
Oh, this hand is out of commission. This is heavy.
Did they try?
Hey, Dr. Boy is trying.
All the teams are strong.
All the teams are trying. I know, like, wear regular clothes.
So it makes sense why whenever they are donned in the traditional attire like this, most of them sit like this. You know, you don't realize why their hands, but like,
my sister.
You don't feel.
And then around your neck to Charlie, there's a whole refinery on your neck.
Charlie, I sell this, I'm leaving Ghana. So it's like, wow, it's a lot, but it's beautiful culture, isn't it?
Wow, you're walking around with your own sound effects.
I'm telling you. Charlie, we're going to make music today.
You are just...
There you go. There you go. Yeah, you
got people need Jesus. Can I just move on to the next trend?
Yeah, the next trend, please.
So, yesterday, West Hills in China Mall are beefing. Okay, there's a beef between West Hills and China Mall. I'm going to go to my Twitter.
West Hills manager and others have been arrested for these big rocks.
To prevent
elimination by rough tactics.
To prevent customers from entering China Mall. Located just behind West Hills Mall. Big rocks in trees, what? Obuokesi.
So I think it's elimination by rough tactics. If it is found to be true that indeed they did it. So these are pictures that we found. Maybe some renovation where people don't always assume the worst.
People are choosing violence these days.
Renovation. Peace is what it choose violence. So it is alleged, okay, that the West Hills people were the ones who brought these rocks to block the entrance of China Mall. I hear it's about a few meters away from the entrance of the West Hills Mall, and the manager has actually been picked up. So this is a GNA Twitter handle. I think we just lost that before the non-conformist tweet came. The manager of West Hills Mall has done more harm than good by his singular acts. Before this day, I was not aware that there is a China Mall just behind West Hills that sells at relatively cheaper price. Thanks to the manager for this advertisement. It was an eye-opener. You know?
That's the GNA.
So that's the GNA one. James Mensa, 42, facility manager for so small, and Samuel Anum Ej, 44, a contractor, have been arrested by the Wager Division of Police Command for blocking the entrance of China Mall with rocks.
Charlie, those of you who you block somebody on WhatsApp and you think you've done something wild,
block with rocks.
This is a serious.
This is blocking.
Block with rocks. Block with rocks.
So China Mall is selling what IG sellers sell for 250 cedis at 50 Ghana. And they have access to loans with lower rates. Melcom is getting into mini stores inside communities with decent pricing. Antiama and Kwame Pape's local stores are about to collapse.
Yeah, those are the real stories, you know, because these malls mess up the mom and pop stores, you know. But this is
so if you sell at a good price, people would.
So what? They organized bulldozers.
I wonder how they did it,
because the contractor has been arrested.
His own materials.
Yeah. So
you see,
the argument I see them presenting is they were going to do some construction work and they just had the product delivered, and it just happens that the product, you know, ended up at the entrance of China Mall. But investigations would commence or have commenced into this development, and so we'll see where that goes.
Wow, Bugabi this.
Me, I just want to see how it plays out. It's like a bad marketing strategy, if it is at all. So, Kav, do you have the Ghana Premier League results, or should we look at a few more tweets while you find
Ghana Premier League,
the results that we are looking for? So the action returned at various centres across the country, and this is the table as it stands now. Bichim United is number 1. Where are all your favorite teams?
Hearts of Oak is number 12.
Well, because they drew. It's only one game. It's only one game.
Okay.
It's only one game.
So don't panic. Look at Valerie. She's like,
it's only one game.
She's like, is that where Hearts is? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You people, you didn't look for Kotoko. It's Ashanti week. Please.
Kotoko won. They won by some good
scores. So 3-1. 3-1 against Dreams on Saturday.
There's Ashanti Gold as well.
Elmina Sharks 1-1 with Accra Lions. Heart of Folk 0-0 Legon City. Tama United 1-1 with Great Olympics. Bichim United 4. I think they are the top. That's why they are on top of the table, because 4 goals.
Plus 4.
Bibiani Gold Stars 1-0 against Brekum Chelsea. Ken Faisal 1-0 against Wafa. Karela 1-1 against the Diana Stars, and 11 Wonders 0, Ashanti Gold 1.
Charlie, but did you see the Legon Cities people? Their arrival, they came wearing not smocks or jerseys. They were wearing not suits or jerseys.
Yeah,
they were wearing smocks.
Yes,
that was really nice. That was cool.
I think that was trending also over the weekend, because it was quite refreshing. I found it quite refreshing. So Bichim United on top of the table with 4 goals, 3 points in the bag. Ashanti Kotoko 3, Ash Gold 3. Kim Faisal 3, Bibiani. So all the teams that won on top of the table, depend on goal difference. Someone goes up, someone comes down.
Let's see after match
11 Wonders, Dreams, Mediama. This was the last week of the Premier League. They'll be going home.
Yeah, Dreams is a nightmare now. Wonders didn't do Wonders.
No Wonders for Honor. The Dreams just continued sleeping. They were just in a bubble of their own. Mediama SC also at the bottom of the table. So that's what the picture looks like for the Ghana Premier League. And yesterday was Halloween. Did anybody see any funny Halloween?
Yeah, I don't celebrate Halloween.
It was a nice Halloween party.
What is Halloween?
So every year on the 31st of October,
Conference of Witches, right? The witches come out.
That's one side of it. But there are people who just use it as a costume party.
Yeah,
and people get dressed up in all these fancy costumes. The Squid Game costumes were the most hilarious, in my opinion. But then the zombie ones are quite popular, as they are every year.
Yeah, there was a pretty nice one I saw.
What was they dressed like?
It was a woman, but she dressed up as the Weeknd. There was a costume party somewhere, and then. Well, yeah.
Well, I don't roll with witches and wizards, so
but the question is, I mean, we had so many Halloween parties over the weekend.
Oh, there were?
Yes, lots.
Even in Ghana, Halloween is very popular now.
But the thing is that,
really?
Yeah, here in Ghana, we had over 20 over the weekend, and everybody was supposed to dress up and look scary or whatever, the best costumes won. But do we even know why people celebrate Halloween?
If you knew, you wouldn't celebrate it.
Do we just,
do we just jump on the trend?
Yes.
We have. But can we just say that these kids look at, I mean, look at the...
Are they in Ghana?
No, they are not Ghanaian kids, obviously.
They are not Ghanaian. But then, Halloween is not originally a Ghanaian celebration. So that's where we are. So yes, so Halloween was also trending. Hojo Ponkroma was also trending over the weekend because he had this Twitter space thingy where hashtag listen up, where he was talking to the youth about some opportunities for job creation. So many trends. What's trending on your side? Send us a message. Hopefully your water hasn't crashed. Okay, so you can send us the message and we can read a few of them. The number is 055 5561034. We had a question on Friday for a chance to win some branded mugs on our quiz segment. Now we have a quiz segment, so the segments are plenty. Which year was the Akonsomo Dam built? And the answer we were looking for was 1965. That's the answer we were looking for, 1965. Which year was the Akonsomo Dam built? 1965. And we got a few of you sending your questions in, and we had your answers in. We had some winners. Mabel Ayeta from Tema, Kelvin Otu from Teshin Laskala, and William Ado from Osu. So Mabel, Kelvin, William, you were our winners for last Friday, and you won yourself some GTV breakfast show branded mugs. So do get in touch with the team, pick them up, take photos and send the photos to us. We'll use the photos of you winning as well. And then we all sit down to a cup of tea, a cup of cocoa, and we'll have a brilliant morning. Today we have another question for you for a chance to win even more fantastic prizes. And the question today is, what did Ya Asantewaa fight for? What did Ya Asantewaa fight for? I'm tempted to say all Ashantis are automatically disqualified.
Some may not know, please. Don't assume. Some may not know.
So, what did Ya Asantewaa fight for? This week we are celebrating Ashanti culture. So, the whole of this week you'll be seeing a lot of Ashanti cultural heritage stuff on the show. What did Ya Asantewaa fight for is our quiz for today. Send your answers in and we'll choose 3 of you to win some fantastic prizes.
Okay.
So many have won already. If you've won already, just give other people a chance to win.
Now the background of Halloween. Okay, so this is Halloween. Those of you who went around dressed as witches and wizards and spirits.
When we come back, then we'll find out. Because now we have to go in for a quick break. And if you want to know, actually, let's throw it out there. What do you know about Halloween, even before Kav comes back to tell you what the background is? So let's take a quick break and we'll be back to continue. Remember, this show is made possible by Awake Purified Mineral Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Thanks to Lufat, who sponsors our Health Check segment. Thanks also to Savida, who elegantly dressed Valerie and myself this morning. We are celebrating Ashanti culture this week, and everything Ashanti will be on display right here on GTV Breakfast. We'll be back.
From GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. From GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. This is the Breakfast Show.
I bet your mind was blown by that fact that the Asantehene has more solid growth on his body than anybody else on this planet. That's our did you know fact. Watch out for more. The entire week. It's a hashtag Ashanti Cultural Week, hashtag Cultural Heritage, hashtag GTV Breakfast right here. And you can follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. Just look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Follow, and then if you leave home, you don't have to cry, because you can take the TV with you on your phone. Good morning, welcome to the show. A lot ahead, including conversations on appellations and other bits of culture as we celebrate the Ashanti Cultural Week. But before that, we're going to talk about health matters, looking at asthma. And this conversation is brought to you by Lufat Tablet and Suspension. It's a brand of anti-malarial that you can trust. Product of the Year at the Ghana Pharma Awards 2021. Lufat is proud to bring you the conversation on asthma coming up after this.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Welcome back, #GTV Breakfast. We're looking at asthma, difficulties in breathing. Years ago, I experienced it and I thought, hey, my world was coming to an end. I haven't had one in a long time, but what does it feel like to live with asthma? My guest is Louisa Badger, who has been living with this condition for more than 20 years. Louisa, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Gav.
What's it like to live with asthma?
Okay, for me, from the beginning, it was quite difficult because you have to cope with not being able to play with your mates, especially in primary school and all of that. And you have to avoid playing with dust and all those games children play. And it's quite difficult explaining to friends and even sometimes teachers that my condition does not allow me to do this or that. And so sometimes you are being called lazy because of that. Yes. Until something dramatic happens and then you have an asthmatic attack, then everybody seems to feel sorry for you. Yeah, so it's been challenging, and the feeling sorry part is what made me want to learn to manage the condition. So it hasn't been easy, but so far so good.
Okay, how young were you when you were diagnosed with asthma?
Okay, my mother told me I was 2.
That young?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
2 years?
2 years.
Did anybody in your family have asthma?
Actually, my father has asthma, and my mother too.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow. And in your research, did it tell you that it was something that was passed on genetically?
I didn't ask. I didn't want to know.
You didn't want to know. So you talked about when something dramatic happens, then all of a sudden people realize how serious it is. Describe that drama for me. What does that mean for you when something is happening to you that shouldn't be happening with you?
Okay, so when you get an asthma attack, what happens is your airways begin to swell up, becomes a bit narrow, so it becomes difficult to breathe in. Yes. And for me, I become very hypersensitive, so any particle in the air can just trigger me. And you begin to bring out a lot of mucus. Yes. So it becomes choking, it becomes uncomfortable. And for me, it's accompanied with a lot of coughing, chest pain, and all of that. Yes, so when I get an asthmatic attack, I start to cough a lot. So uncontrollably, it could be dust, it could be just perfume, it could be, I can literally smell mold. Yes. So
that's sensitive?
Yeah.
Wow.
You get hypersensitive, and yes. So it makes it uncomfortable because everybody else is not reacting to the dust you claim is in the air. Yes, so, and when it gets serious, then it means your breath starts to shorten. So if you don't get any form of relief soon, then it's just going to get bad and bad.
Do you walk around with an inhaler just in case you get an attack?
For a couple of years now. Yes, because I've learned to know what triggers me and what does not. And I noticed that at certain times of the year, it gets serious. So I know that getting to the Harmattan season, I have to be very careful.
So you're on guard now as we're going into
yes. So I know that getting to the dry Harmattan season, there's going to be a lot of dust in the air. There's going to be this, there's going to be that. So even before Corona, getting to that period of the year, I make sure I have nose mask and all of that to protect me from the dust in the air.
Yes.
Yes, and the cold parts of the year, rainy seasons and all of that, so I have to be alert.
So our studio is not very friendly for you right now.
I can manage.
You can manage.
Yeah.
Talking about coughing, Corona is associated with coughing and sneezing, and then if you also have an underlying condition like asthma, what was that for you last year, even up until now, with corona coming into the mix?
Okay, at first when I heard corona, the whole news about corona, I got scared. I was asking, so how are people who are like me, how are they going to cope? But I think once you know how to protect yourself, you are good to go, because I honestly didn't think I'll come this far. I was expecting that I was going to contract the virus and all of that. But I mean, masking up, being careful and all of that, it's been helpful.
Have you really had times when you thought, hey Charlie, this is it? And you've had really scary, what describe your most serious attack?
So my scariest attack was back in SHS. It started when I was at prep. So we were studying and the weather wasn't friendly. I was in the Volta region and sometimes it gets very cold and rainy. So I remember walking to my dormitory and I could feel myself losing breath. So I just told myself, no, just hurry up and go and lie down. I got to the dormitory and it was locked. And that was where my inhaler was actually. So I quietly went to sleep in a friend's bed and I didn't even tell her what was happening. So I knew I needed my inhaler. I was losing breath and I couldn't speak to anyone to bring me an inhaler even after the dormitory was open. So I was finding it hard to breathe, so I was finding it hard to talk. And I don't really remember what happened, but I woke up in the hospital.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Meaning that you probably passed out?
Probably.
Yeah. Wow. That was scary.
Yeah.
And so what does the inhaler do for those who don't know? What is it? How does it help you?
Okay, it relieves the symptoms. So asthma comes with some symptoms. It's different. It's very different from person to person. For me, I cough a lot, and then there's that pressure in the chest and pain, and a lot of mucus. Yes. So we have inhalers that are relievers, that relieves you from the discomfort of the symptoms.
Is there any medication inside what you are inhaling?
Yes, yes. For what I use, there's, if I'm not wrong, salbutamol. Yes. It's a Ventolin inhaler.
Okay.
But I really haven't taken time to read what inhalers
I've heard of Ventolin too, so I know what you're saying is right. Any other things that help you to relieve the symptoms apart from the inhaler?
Okay, mostly I prefer to be in natural space, like air. Fresh air helps me a lot. Yes, so instead of being in a stuffed place, I prefer to step out, maybe allow the wind to blow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much better. And actually, honey has done a lot for me.
Oh, honey?
Yes. I don't know how, but my grandmother introduced me to it, and
all right.
It's been helpful. Yes. So those are the things that have helped me. Honey, being in open spaces with natural air. Yes. Making sure my space is dust free as possible, and not clumsy and congested.
So as you've grown older, has the severity and the frequency of the attacks lessened?
The frequency, yes, probably because I've learned to manage it and know what to do and what not to do. But the severity, I wouldn't say so.
When was your last attack, if I may ask?
3 months ago.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you know the things to avoid are there any foods that if you eat, it will trigger?
When I was younger, a doctor gave me a list of things I shouldn't eat. And said
what was on that list?
Groundnuts, okra, funny enough.
Okay.
Rice, maize. But
what were you eating when all these things were on the red list? What were you eating?
Oh, I was eating them.
Even though they say you shouldn't eat them?
Yes.
Louisa?
Yeah.
Why?
So I just know when to stop.
So you eat it the way you feel like Louisa.
So for something like maize, I don't do a browning cartier because it's obviously very dry.
Yes.
Yes. So, but something like boiled maize, fine. Okay. But even that, I do not take so much.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you realize that now your restrictions are less? You can pretty much eat
anything?
Yes,
I can.
Okay.
Yes.
How about exercising? Because I know, I mean, when I was in boarding school, those who are asthmatic didn't go on morning trotting and all those kind of things. How do you keep fit as an asthmatic? Also living with asthma.
I did go for morning trotting, yes. Okay. But then, like I said, you should know when to stop. You can't say because of my condition, I don't do this, I don't do that. My mother didn't give me that space. That because I'm asthmatic, I can't sleep, I can't run, I can't do this. So you just know when to stop, yes, and how to protect yourself. So when I'm running, I'll probably not run as fast as you, but
you run.
I'll find my way.
As we are rounding up, what kind of advice do you give to those who live with people living with asthma and then people who also live with the condition themselves?
Okay, for those living with the asthma patients, I would say that sometimes you should learn to be a bit patient and a little understanding, because I've had people make jokes about the condition and make it seem like the person is not pulling their weight and all that. But you should understand that even though it might be something you'd want to make fun of, it's something that can threaten the person's life if they are not careful.
Do you know people who have died from asthma?
I've heard of people, but I don't know them personally.
Do you have that fear?
Not anymore. At first, I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And for asthmatic patients, I would say that you shouldn't limit yourself. You shouldn't restrict yourself. Just take one day at a time. Know what to do, what not to do, and enjoy your life.
You have support groups that you hang around with and share remedies and tips and things like that?
For asthma, no. I do not have any support group.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, Louisa, thank you very much.
Thank you
for sharing your story. And that's our conversation on health, brought to you by Lufat, which is an anti-malaria medicine which comes in suspension and tablet form, taken after a 30 meal for 3 days for effective results. It's a brand you can trust. Product of the Year at the Ghana Pharma Awards 2021. Proud to bring you our health segment right here on GTV Breakfast. We'll be talking to, I've been having a chat with Louisa Baja, someone who's been living with asthma for over 2 decades now, and sharing her experience and tips for those who live with it and those who live with those who live with it. All right, here I live with Valerie and Thelma, and today they've just taken it to a whole new level. It's a hashtag Ashanti Cultural Week, hashtag Cultural Heritage, hashtag GTV Breakfast, hashtag Valerie, you are ready now, you can talk to us.
Yes, thanks, I'm going to take over now. Well, I'm looking this nice thanks to Rich Cultural. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and our accessories and the kente was given to us by Savida. Savida is on Facebook and Instagram as well. So we've been touting since last week that we are celebrating the Ashanti Kingdom and everything that the Ashanti represent, and today we begin celebrating the Ashanti Cultural Week. We are going to rush hour from a popular place in Kumasi, Santasi. That's where we are rushing hour from. So my guy Alan is already on standby, and he's going to give us traffic updates from Kumasi, Santasi specifically. So today is an intercity sort of thingy right here on rush hour. Alan, good morning. You're live and piping hot. We can see you. What's happening in Santasi? So the hashtag to follow, guys, is the Ashanti Cultural Week and hashtag GTV Breakfast. Alan will be coming to us shortly. Yes, Alan is ready now.
Hello, good morning.
Alan, yes, we can hear you speak.
Good morning and welcome to the Garden City of the Republic. Hello?
The hashtag to follow is the Ashanti Cultural Weekend. The images on your screen now is live from the Santase roundabout, and that's live on your screens now.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Garden City, the very Garden City of the Republic of Ghana, and this is Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region. It's the Ashanti Cultural Week, and so coming to you live from the Santase roundabout with Rush Hour and hashtag GTV Breakfast. Well, arriving here, we're currently at the Santase roundabout, and the statue behind me, we're told, is the statue for Prempeh I. He is one of the immediate or in recent history past kings of the Ashanti Kingdom. At this roundabout, you have 4 different exits. The one immediately to the back of me or behind me, which would be pointing southwards, is the Dr. Adokufo Avenue. And then across of that will be the West End bypass. And this roundabout has different many activities. Apart from a few litter lying about, the very middle of the roundabout itself poses a problem. And that is to do with a pothole. If you can see a pure water and trying very hard to avoid hitting the pothole, it is so bad that it actually adds up to the traffic situation out here. Take that away, and then you have trotros turning the roundabout itself into a bus stop. And so they stop dead in the middle of the bus stop of the roundabout and create a tailback. This is one of the critical problems in managing traffic around this roundabout. Now let me bring you to the intersections or the exits that come into the roundabout itself. On the West End bypass, you have traffic coming in from the north side of east side of town into the Santase roundabout and then making its way towards the West End. From there, you come to the Dr. Adokufo Avenue, which brings in traffic from, as far as I can see, over a kilometer away into the Santase roundabout. And then we make our way into the West End, which points then directly to the West End part of this roundabout. You have slow moving traffic, but then it is not that which would hold you unduly long. Now let's look into the Dr. Adokufo Avenue, which should point us into the general direction heading towards Denyami. And out there again, you have trotros and taxis parking to the side of the road, and they create a lot of tailback. They hold nearly everybody else. Let me point you to one interesting thing we also found arriving here. As early as we did, we came across this preacher man whose sound is bleating out so loud music. We for a second, myself and the crew who arrived here began to wonder, is this going to be this way all day, or there is going to be a certain respite, especially for traders along the side of the road? And one of the traders was telling me, my brother, wait until he gets changed over, and whoever takes it from him will give you even the worst of noise. This is the rush hour traffic situation at the Santase roundabout, coming to you live on hashtag GTV Breakfast. Thank you very much, and back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Alan. That was my colleague Alan, who came to us from the Santase roundabout with traffic updates. Do you live in Kumasi? around the Santasi roundabout, can you give us what traffic is like usually on a Monday? Are we extraordinarily early? That's why the traffic is this way, or does it get thicker? You might want to send your comments into our WhatsApp message, which is 05555561034, or to our Facebook. And remember that to only share and like content that's from a GBC account that's verified. When it's verified, there's always a blue tick on the account handle, and we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We are celebrating the Ashanti Cultural Week here at GBC, and I'm proudly looking this nicely done by Rich Cultural on Facebook. They put together this ensemble, but this accessory and the kente is by Savida Kente, and they are on Facebook as well. I'm going to hand over to Kaf But before I hand over to Kaf, he's getting ready to have a sit down on discussing the headlines, what's trending, the newspapers, social issues, and then on the online portals as well. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We'll take a quick break.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
These are killing people. Mr. Eja, you have been found guilty of indulging in galamsey, and since
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much. Mkosu. I'll hear my win here.
Asia bede bra for ba campesa kodane ne atofo atrani atreba na ko etrenie mojanie ani wa ati asia na campesa me kogu so na ni wade e wo yo ena dia mani ndamra mo okungo bisa wani okungo bisa man kwati atantan kwaji atnane otufa to dia dia ne esrefre na so arado to mo akwata sia so arado to kasie mu ni ahira. What did you buy? What did you buy in Sunday? Emutu atu ajano no na meeting na kuno duma jano no campus ebo ko na bibo wanya bia nso na bia eyi na no we eyi na no woso no akwa aba tan brafo be wa ko ni ba kron da mra hine ni anhisia se mi krukru sa me krakra fa ko mase ade anko kwanchi eyi wa kase eyi wada so yan fanfre no na se to ni be sri ni na se to ni be sri fi na me she bebe ni a sansa ku mo ko apem so fi me je ko bana bana se yakoya yanto kwa so ni danu no e aso abuta no ti bodom abata tu mi ka ko se pencheni asia ma ne kwanse bubu e emenu kuna ne so me nyansa ni de dia ko me brei achana buache ma ho mene so nana se tutu abebi ewe emini kiti ayensa na ho mo upon your friend in Samampo opim soe me frefro said the nyan consumer frefro so na pama akukrodru for ya di ubu man onyansa fo Solomon anyame ama ne nyansa so fa mu asanteman na da wasi eson ya da wasi ebru ya da wasi akodonto nyansa bu akwanyame ya sven kwatete ne mo pem so for say to baby away. And Penny say, your fruit yapani a piano. Up him sway. One mass Santa Maya near Honda. And I heard the wire Santa Mai. Nana, that was see a brew. No for Cassia man signing on Manuay. Nansa Bwakwa Nansa Bunkamakanta so. Mobro ni adoye ni naja. Woni paboni ni onu de ompe wo ye die awa akonwa iso no. Mesrasa enaye wa fisha dey. So odwen boni bi de fa ho a. Ye da fa kuntunkuni akona ye wi akete. Oprim so say tutu e. Ochema boache frafra wo. Onana wade ni na akua du twu amrosa. Nana da wase eson. Nana won kwaso. Nana efo sewa ko bi pam ka chire. Are you cooperating any club asante kotoko? Nana say to baby o ayo you kuni. Are you cro akagwa nya kroma? Mufi kokofu. Mo hinene otu osrebuo. Nana yada wase eson. Oprim so onkwaso.
Wonderful music, do some free music. You know, if the power goes off, this one can still play. You know, that's the power of this kind of music. Beautifully done by the Untitled Culture Group, based right here in Agboba, in the Greater Accra region. Beautiful music, and I'm sure there'll be more in today's show. We're celebrating Ashanti Culture Week. That's a hashtag cultural heritage, hashtag GTV breakfast, hashtag headlines right now. And I have with me Dr. Kweku Anani Jinde. He's a corporate governance expert and a lecturer at JIMPA. Maybe I should even say, hey, what does JIMPA stand for? If you don't know, let us know. Good to have you here, sir.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I've been coming here, but a lot of changes have taken place.
Yes,
so I think it's part of the general change that is happening across.
Yes, indeed.
So you have a new set, and the whole place looks very
beautiful.
new, very beautiful.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hear that you are basically coming home because you used to be a journalist.
Yeah, I used to be a journalist for almost 16 years before I decided to go and do law.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I was with Kalajiman Bannerman late.
Okay.
And we're doing some programs with Ekushika. I don't know whether she's still here.
She's in the newsroom.
Yeah, so
big boss there. I understand you trained her?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, nice. Great stuff. Good to have you here.
Yeah, we did.
Awesome.
I'm at home.
You are home. Definitely at home. I want to kick off with some police-related stories because they've been very busy bringing out information. So there's a press release dated 31st October from the Ghana Police investigation into a protest led by Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu. Following a protest in the Medina constituency led by its Member of Parliament, Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu, on Monday, October 25, the police commenced investigations into certain alleged criminal acts that occurred. The MP was invited on the day of the protest to assist the police for his alleged involvement in the unlawful blockade of a road and the destruction of public property, but he declined the invitation. He declined further invitations, citing parliamentary privilege. 3 other persons have been interrogated on this matter, and we shall continue to use every legal means to interrogate all other suspects, including the Honorable MP for Medina. Stories circulating that some police personnel have been dispatched to arrest the MP at a church on Sunday, October 31st, are untrue. Any plainclothes police personnel found on the premises of the church may have been there for intelligence purposes and not to effect an arrest. The police administration will continue to conduct investigations into this matter, and we urge the police to continue to support us as we maintain law and order. Signed, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Director General of Public Affairs, Kwesi Ofori. But before I get your comment on that, there's a development on that particular story involving the bodyguard of the MP in question. So I want to read that story, that press release for you, because it ties into exactly what we are discussing this morning, and this is that one. So the story is as follows. Bodyguard interdicted for alleged misconduct. Also signed yesterday, 31st October. Police guard previously assigned to the Member of Parliament for Medina, Inspector Daniel Agbavo, has been interdicted for alleged misconduct. He's alleged to have recklessly driven into a crowd after a protest last Monday, October 25, in the Medina constituency, directly endangering the lives of 2 senior officers and other civilians. The 2 officers have officially reported the incident to the police administration for investigations and possible disciplinary action. The Parliamentary Protection Unit has been tasked to assign a new guard to the MP. Signed, Kwesi for ACP, Director General for Police Public Affairs of the Ghana Police. Dr. Jinde, have you been following this issue? Seems to be some kind of a standoff between the MP for Medina and the Ghana Police.
Yes, I have. I've been following it. Incidentally, last week I was teaching my students on this very topic, public order, the right to demonstrate and whatever.
Good.
You see, let me first say good morning to your cherished viewers. I'm glad to be here once again, and then to my people back at Kintampo, and then my beautiful wife, Ama Aduchumwa. When I heard that she was Aduchumwa, I said, hey.
Your wife,
a copy of my wife.
Yeah.
So, but you see, the right to demonstrate is enshrined in our constitution. It's a form of political expression. So everybody has the right to demonstrate on whatever issue he or she thinks is not going right. But at the same time, we also have the Public Order Act at 491, which tells you, directs you as to how to exercise that constitutional right. So what the Public Order Act says is that if you want to demonstrate, you notify the police 5 clear days ahead, and then you give the notice to a police officer not below the rank of an assistant superintendent of police. So if you give it to a sergeant, you are wrong. So you see, the law is such that it wants to guarantee your right to demonstrate, and then my right to go about my duties without any let or hindrance. So if you want to engage in any public demonstration, the act does not call it demonstration, it calls it special event. So if you want to organize any special event that involves a public space, you need to inform the police. The police is not there to give you permission. If the police think that for 1 or 2 reasons the special event cannot come on, what they can do is to go to the court and get a court order and injunction. But the police themselves cannot tell you that we won't let you demonstrate. They don't have the powers to do that. It is only the court that can injunct somebody or restrain you from going on that demonstration.
So the police should have come with a court order?
But when, normally, what happened? Did they go to the police? Did they notify the police? That's the first question. If they have, what is the arrangement? What was the agreement? If the police felt that it will hinder public peace, or for whatever reason, the police cannot be there to protect you, what they can do is to go to court and get a court order restraining. You see, the purpose of the police presence, first, maybe your demonstration, other people are against it. So in the course of demonstrating, others can throw stones at you. So the police are there to protect you, the demonstrator. But at the same time, whilst you are demonstrating, Mami Yamano or Akole selling her tomatoes along the route should not be disrupted by your demonstration. So the law tries to find a balance between your right to demonstrate and my right to go to the market and then sell my tomatoes. So that is why the police is always there to ensure that they protect you and then they protect others who may not be interested in your demonstration. So the first question is, did they notify the police? If they haven't, then they are falling foul of the law. The act is very clear. So if they have notified the police and for whatever reason there was some misunderstanding, the way they could have handled it, to sit down with the police so that they would, but just to go and then start demonstrating without police notification. I'm not saying that. I'm just assuming here. Go on the street, demonstrate without notifying the police. That is, to me, is act of lawlessness. That's my position. That is act of lawlessness. But if they went and then they agreed with the police, and in the course of the demonstration, something ensued. But you see, what the law gives you is the right to demonstrate, but the law does not give you the right to engage in acts of vandalism. Public property must be protected. Public order must be upheld. So I think I'm yet to see what actually happened. I was not there, so I cannot really make a judgment as to what is wrong or what went wrong, who was right. But the first question is, did they notify the police?
That is the question that we want to know and have information on. We've been joined by Bernard Odro-Techi, Regional Coordinator for CAYE West Africa, Commonwealth Alliance for Young Entrepreneurs. Bernard, good to have you here. Good. Second time running. Sure. We're looking at a hot story involving the MP for Madina, Francis Xavier Susu. They claim that there was an attempt to arrest them yesterday. For the second time, the police claim that they may have been there. The police may have been there for intelligence purposes and not necessarily an arrest. Right. Bottom line is that the arrest did not happen, and his bodyguard has been interdicted for behaving in a dangerous way, driving allegedly into a crowd. You're following this, sure. I'm pretty sure. What do you make of what's going on, really?
Yeah. Good morning, Kafui. I think that this whole controversy stems from the fact that at times the police want to capriciously use the law in terms of the Public Order Act. If you read the full dictate to the Public Order Act, what is seen to suggest is just notify the police. So the element of the police either give you the permit or not does not lie in their bosom.
Yes.
So what any other reasonable man, according to law, should do is to give the Ghana police 5 proud days notice. So if you want to, let's say, demonstrate on 1st of November, you should, according to the law, serve the police around 25th of October. Over the years, what has been the norm is that the police will always want to use some technicality to knock people off. And that has been the order of the day. I remember when we were in school and wanted to demonstrate in those times, I mean, you go through the normal procedure, notify the police. And I remember at that time, Madam Rosa Tingabio was the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander. She wanted to use technique, and we told her that, look, madam, the law does not allow you to either permit us, not to permit us. We have notified you. If you cannot protect us, we protect ourselves. So the back and forth is simply because people have precedence of the police trying to use the law against them. Now let me come to the interdiction. For me, I think that the police have they are close to the capacity to interdict anybody, regardless of the circumstances. But then if the circumstance is born out of malice, and it seems to suggest a politic mechanism because of against a political party, that is disingenuous. I think moving forward, let's look at the Constitution of Ghana, Article 117. I took time in the course of the weekend to read around this parliamentary immunity and host of things. If you look at the instance of Ghana versus UK, they have parliamentary supremacy. And if you go to UK, they don't have one codified constitution like Ghana. Theirs is simply the act of their parliament that seems to be the supreme over there. And at that level, they said that parliament is very supreme, is superior to any other body whatsoever. If you come to Ghana, we have a constitution. And the constitution is superior to any other law. If you look at Article 117 of the Ghana Constitution, it precludes MPs from being arrested or even giving sermons. But that interpretation for me is left into the Supreme Court of Ghana. As to whether an MP could be arrested and what constitutes in the course of duty, that's another bone of contention.
Nobody has tested it yet?
Nobody has tested that. So we should be able to test the law. I want somebody to wake up one day and test that particular constitutional proviso. The constitutional provision, Article 117, says that an MP cannot, and it uses the word shall, and that means Dog is a lawyer, he can interpret very well. Anytime they consider the word shall, it makes it very powerful. So I'm looking forward to when the Ghanaian will wake up and challenge the interpretation of that Article 117. What constitutes in the course of duty? Is it leading a demonstration in his constituency? Is it attending to parliamentary debate? Is it attending to national cause? So that constitutional provision for me is quite arguable. And it is one day we should wake up and say the Supreme Court must say that this ABC constitute the course of duty. CDF does not. So that all Ghanaians will know that if an MP is leading a demonstration, it does not constitute parliamentary duty. Because for me, the circumstances upon which he was meant to be arrested for me is questionable for me. Look, apart from being in parliament, you represent the people. And don't forget that the true democracy is the parliament. Because all Ghanaians are supposed to be in parliament this Monday morning. But because the room is not sizable, we have apportioned each person per constituency. So that person over there is the icon of Ghanaians, is the icon of his constituency. So if an MP, and I'm not speaking because he belongs to a certain party, this is ubiquitous, it goes to everybody. The table can turn tomorrow and it could be another MP. So what is worse and bad today should be bad in principle tomorrow.
Okay, let me bring in Dr. Ananiji, because you teach people this stuff in school. This provision in the Constitution which says an MP cannot be arrested on his course of duty, is it too broad?
Well, I think I've been telling people that our Constitution is sick in so many aspects. Portions of our constitutions need to be looked at. And this broad definition, whilst he's on his way to Parliament or on his way back whilst performing his duty as a Parliament, that thing has not been defined. So we are left with various approaches to interpretations. It depends on how you want to interpret it, whether you want to use the literal rule, the golden rule, the historical rule to do your interpretation. And the only way we can bring this to a final conclusion is to test the law. And you see, unfortunately, Ghanaians hate going to court. They are afraid to go to court. But the court is a very interesting and exciting place for you to go and then get issues resolved.
But the MP at the center of this is also a lawyer.
Excuse me?
The MP at the center of this
he's a lawyer.
Is a lawyer.
But we cannot take his interpretation, because the interpretation of the Constitution is only done by the Supreme Court.
Will you be surprised if in the final analysis the police get to arrest him?
Well, I don't think we have to go along that line. He could just be invited to assist the police in investigations. But of course, if some criminal activities went on, if property had been vandalized, well, we are talking of crimes here.
Well, the argument is that some of the roads that were blocked were not supposed to have been blocked. It was they notified and everything, but there were some things that have happened.
Well, I think if you ask that you are going to engage in a special event or a demonstration, you go and you explain to the police, this is what we are going to do. We are going to start from Obra Spot. I don't think if you tell the police that we are going to block the road, they will agree with you. That will amount to causing public disorder. You are going to hinder other road users. And remember, the road is a public space. It is a public space. So we should not, or the law would not allow an individual or a group of people to occupy the public space and deny others the right to also use that same public space. Because if you are demonstrating, I will respect that. But I want to go to give and do my power bar. So if you block me,
what is power
to go and teach. We are all laborers. In the eyes of God, yes, we are all laborers in God's vineyard. Yes, so if you block me from going to earn my lawful living, I don't think you are being fair to me. You are in breach of the law, because you are, remember, you are right. You are right to do whatever. Ends where my nose begins. You are right to stretch your hand. You can stretch your hand as far as you want. But that right ends where my nose begins. So the law tries to balance the interests of various individuals and groups within society. So I think if something untoward had happened, if some criminal activities had taken place, I think we should allow the police to do the proper investigation and do proper professional police work. So this is why I was trying to advise my colleague here. You know, if you're having such a discussion and then you bring in the political element, you lose the essence of the discourse. In Ghana, if you want to commit crime and get away with it, after commission of the crime, go and put a party down and you go scot-free. This has been the problem in this country. So if people are engaged in criminal activities, I'm not saying that what they did, I don't have the evidence. If it constitute a crime. Let the law deal with them.
Let the law deal with them, says Dr. Ananejinde. And briefly, because I want to talk about another police-related issue, which is in the news right now. Briefly.
Yeah, a friend of mine said something that all politicians in the world, they love demo in democracy, but not demo in demonstration. And there is nowhere in the world that success has been achieved in the political space other than civil disobedience. So civil disobedience is very, very, very critical. Look, I mean, let's look at what they were protesting against.
Okay. And I'll hold you there because we actually have the head of the MP's security on the line right now on GTV Breakfast. Christopher, good morning. Welcome to the show. Hello, Christopher. Can you hear me? So we're trying to establish contact with the head of the security for the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Soso. Let's see if we can get him through another time. Christopher, good morning. Welcome to the show. Well, we will establish contact when we have the means to do so. I'm going to try again. Do we have Christopher on the line? We do not have Christopher on the line. We'll get back to that. Just make your point and then hopefully... Christopher, can you hear me? Hello? Christopher, good morning. Good morning, Christopher. The lines are still on a weekend break. So when they wake up, we'll get through to Christopher and speak with him. Christopher Anku is head of security for the Member of Parliament for Medina. We're trying to see whether we can get...
Good morning.
Good morning, Christopher. How are you doing?
Yeah, so yesterday, the incident happened in the constituency of the Member of Parliament during our routine thank you tour of churches. We were in the church when some men, unidentified initially, came out of a pickup, a Ford pickup unregistered, and told me as the head of security, because I was the only one with him, that they had come to effect the arrest of the MP. So I asked them from where? Where was the instruction coming from? They said from the CID High Command. So I said, well, as you can hear, the Member of Parliament is delivering, because he was billed to deliver a message last week. He couldn't, so he was doing that yesterday. So if they could allow him to finish preaching, I would produce him. So then I went back inside when my boss was done and asked that and informed him of the development. So he asked that if they could have they produced an arrest warrant. I said no. I went back and requested for it, and that took us over 40 minutes. They were not ready to show me any arrest warrant. They insisted that the only time they will show an arrest warrant is when my boss comes out for them to effect their arrest. I told them that I, in my capacity as the head of security, cannot give him to you because already you are not uniformed. And again, you are using unlicensed vehicle. So they showed me some ID card, but I was unable to read the details on the ID card. However, they insisted that they were coming from the police CID. While these developments were ongoing, I decided to make other arrangements, and we immediately started making calls to the leadership of Parliament that intervened. These guys were numbering over 10, and they were with weapons. And the only thing that didn't happen there was physical engagement. But they told us that if we resisted arrest further, we will not like it. Just around that time, constituents started massing up, and in a bit of more than 10 minutes, we realized that they started receiving calls and dispersed. So exactly that was what happened yesterday. I need to put on record that earlier, the police high command had written to the Speaker of Parliament requesting Honourable to be released to them, and Speaker of Parliament declined, stating clear reasons. And this letter, they have it in their custody. Again, I showed them the letter. I showed the leader of who came yesterday the same piece of letter, read it out to them, and they took note of it, but insisted that they were working under instruction and they needed to take him away. So that was exactly what happened yesterday.
Okay. Okay, so Christopher, thank you for these details. I want to just establish a few things. So does the MP now have a new head police bodyguard? Because I understand Mr. Agbavo has been relieved of his duties. We'll try and get back Christopher on the line because we need to just establish exactly where the MP is, whether he has his new security, and what the next line of action is. If you just joined us, this is GTV Breakfast. We're looking at some disturbances that occurred yesterday in the Medina constituency, where the MP, according to reports, evaded arrest for the second time. The police have a different spin on their communication to us, telling us that the police officers there may have been there on an intelligence trip and not to necessarily arrest the MP. So there's some kind of a conflict going on there, which we're trying to get to the bottom of. And if we can get back to Mr. Christopher Anku, who is the head of security, just ask him a couple of questions, that would be good. You can send your comments on 055-556-1034. The police are busy these days. There's some West Hills issue also. Rocks have been deposited in front of China Mall, and some managers at the West Hills Mall who allegedly have done that or were responsible for that have been arrested. So these days the police are not going on break at all. They are dealing with all kinds of issues, left, right, and center, and we want to bring you the big hot stories of the moment. We'll try and see whether we can get back. Do we have Mr. Christopher Anko back on the line? If not, we'll just continue to the next story. And it has to do with West Hills Mall, another police issue, because the police have arrested two managers of West Hills Mall. They are alleged to have deposited huge boulders in front of China Mall, apparently their competitor. For what reason, we are yet to establish, but the police have arrested them, and it's a big headline that has been making the news since yesterday. Dr. Anandi Jinde, have you ever heard of such an issue like this before?
You see, first back to what the head of security has just explained.
But before you go, I beg your pardon. I think Mr. Anku is back. Mr. Anku, good morning. Again, can you hear me?
Good morning, Kafi. Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, so just before you go, where is the MP right now?
I am not able to tell, but I can assure you he's safe, he's very fine, and he's in good spirit.
His police bodyguard has been interdicted. Does he have a new one?
No, he doesn't have. And that's the sorry part of all of these developments. It only means that the Honorable Member of Parliament for Medina has been exposed to a lot of harm. Within the period, he has no security.
Well, the police in their statement allege that this particular Mr. Agbavo drove into a crowd and endangered the lives of people. He was reported, and then he's been interdicted for investigations. How do you respond to that?
In the lightest of terms, let us disregard some of these things. When I saw the release yesterday, I felt sorry, even for the whole police system. There was no such incident on the day of the protest as reported. In fact, it was the Honorable MP himself who drove his car out of the protest ground. It was not his personal bodyguard. All his personal bodyguard did was to keep him safe in the midst of the confusion until he got to his car. The Honorable MP Susu drove his car out of where the demonstration or the protest happened, or where the confusion erupted.
And when he was driving, where was the bodyguard when he was driving the car?
The bodyguard was sitting to his right.
Okay, so if the police detail a new bodyguard, will Mr. Susu accept to have him?
The arrangement of these things is to the extent that he himself must suggest someone. So Mr. Agbavo was suggested by him. I mean, you know, it's a fiduciary role he has to play. So I am not able to speak to that now. However, we are sure that if all of this is resolved, we'll have another security.
When you say a fiduciary role, what exactly do you mean?
Because, I mean, he must necessarily be someone he trusts, someone he feels comfortable with, someone he thinks he can put his life in a person's hands, because he is his physical shield against any harm. As of now, there is no such a person, and we now have to take time to scan, the personnel and make a choice. And that is quite a huge task.
Well, that's your job as head of security, I believe.
Well, I may admit, but it's quite a difficult task. Yes, it's quite a difficult task.
Are you expecting another? Okay, no, go ahead.
Noting that Mr. Agbavo resumed duty less than 2 months ago. You get it? Less than 2 months ago, he resumed duty. Less than 2 months ago, officially attached to him.
Are you expecting another attempt at arresting your MP?
I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised, Kafri. I won't be surprised, especially now that the whole police hierarchy, the security architecture of the state is denying involvement in this arrest. Whereas these guys produce police identification cards and spoke with authority as police officers. The only thing they did not show me was an arrest warrant. But they were speaking, they were receiving calls, they had all the security gadgets on them. So I don't know, but if this is how we are going to be running a state as this, Kathy, you and I are not safe. This is what they are doing to another member of parliament who has privileges out of you and I.
Christopher, what's your response to someone who says this drama can end if Mr. Sosu just submits himself to the police for a conversation?
My response is simple. This drama will end if all state institutions and persons conform to the law. The laid down procedure in arresting an MP is not in space. It is a written law. Right to the Speaker of Parliament to waive his immunity. If the Speaker refuses to waive his immunity, that is also a matter of law. If you wish to challenge it, you know where to go to.
Christopher, does Mr. Sosu consider himself a fugitive?
Well, in the present circumstance, you may say so, because I can tell you on authority that after the demonstration, Mr. Sosu hasn't been home. Yes, he hasn't been home. And Saturday into Sunday, he was equally not home. Yesterday, he wasn't home. And as I speak to you now, I am unable to even tell where my boss is. I can only give you the full assurance.
But you are the head of security. You must know where your boss is.
He's safe. That's my priority. He's safe.
But you don't know where he is. But you don't know where he is?
I don't know where he is. No, I don't know where he is. He's in the capable hands of the leadership of Parliament.
He's in the capable hands of the leadership of Parliament?
Yes, for the minority side.
So he's inside Parliament right now?
I'm not able to tell.
Mr. Christopher Anku is head of security for the MP for Medina, Francis Xavier. So thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. So what do you think of this standoff? I'd like to know. I'm curious. I only ask questions. 055-556-1034. Brief comment on what you just heard before we go to Wessels Mall and the Rocks.
My brother, this country, we've gone a long way. We've gone a very long way. And I must put it on record. Some of us went on demonstrations. We see police rubber bullets, which nearly made us blind when we were student activists. Outside of communication, at that time, National Union of Ghana students, in the early 90s, we fought for this country to be free from some of these excesses. So if the police, for whatever reason, it's not somebody who you cannot find in case you need him. Just invite him in a civil manner. MP, come and then we have a chat. I don't think the honorable member will refuse. And more so, there are laws as to how to arrest somebody. Produce an arrest warrant. If you are unable to produce that, how do I believe you? That you are even from the place you say you claim you come from. And to go with an unregistered vehicle. Please. I don't think we need to bring some of this unnecessary tension in the country.
The process is wrong.
The process is wrong. If you're going to arrest someone, produce a warrant. That's what the law says. I'm not saying it.
Come with a registered vehicle.
Come with a registered vehicle. In case you take my client away, I should be able to trace which vehicle took my client away. And apart from that, why can't the police sit down and just invite him? So that we can have a very civil engagement.
Some of these invitations have ended up being a guest. You become a guest of the police.
You don't go there alone, you go there with your lawyer. So we can avoid these things. 28, 29 years of democratic exercise.
So for you, this is totally unnecessary?
No, it was not necessary. You are creating unnecessary tension in the country.
Bernard. Briefly, we are going to West Hills Mall.
This drama is needless. It is uncalled for. Last week, we sat on this same platform and praised the IGP. And I think that this particular Monday, I won't praise him. He must put his feet grounded very well. Because you see, the very same people who were praising Jesus Christ turned the other way around. We sat and said, oh, this IGP is setting a pace. But you see, one bad nut can destroy 1,000 nuts. And what I'm saying today is not good for the image of the Ghana police. I mean, what is it that you cannot deal with an MP? You ask a question, is he a fugitive? And there is a deep question. And you could see that he said, as it stands now, yes. Why must an MP be a fugitive? It is because of these occurrences. So we want to play with the IGP. Some of us love the job he is doing. But what is happening seems to suggest that it's been a vindictive agenda of somebody using the Ghana police. Why must you go and arrest an MP on an unregistered vehicle? That raises a lot of questions. But I will also be very glad if you could also return to the Ghana police and hear their side of the story, because there's always two sides of the coin. Yeah. We've had a side of the MP through the head of his security. Yeah. We must equally reach out to the Ghana Police Service and listen to their side so that we can make a better introspection.
I read the statement.
Very well.
And basically they claim that the people who were there may not have been there to arrest necessarily, but just to do intelligence.
You know, but then it clearly seems to suggest that the drama is from a vindictive angle. For me, I do believe that the Ghana police must own up. And for me, I want to commend the PR of the Ghana police. Is it Mr. Kwasi or something?
Yes.
The way he put that information of late is very good. But then this drama is giving an indication of a vindictive agenda from somewhere.
All right.
And that seems to, that must end.
That must end, says Bernard. What's your view? I'm sure the messages are flooding in. We'll get to that. Let's look at the West Hills Mall. I mean, we woke up yesterday and found huge quarry blocks, boulders in front of China Mall. 2 people have been arrested, 2 people who work at the West Hills Mall. It's an open and shut case, isn't it? I mean,
well, you wake up one morning and you see a whole lot of material in front of your business premise. Naturally, what you do is you go and report to the police, and then they've done the right thing. And then I think 2 people have been arrested.
Yes.
Are they just suspects or what?
Well, they're going to be aiding in investigation. They work there.
Well, I think, you see, Ghana is becoming a lawless country. Even if you have an issue with a competitor, that is not the right way to go. You see, since childhood, we've not been trained we've not been taught how to resolve disputes. In the kindergarten, if you fight with your friend or the teacher can say, hey, Munya, stop. But in other jurisdictions, when they have difficulties, the teachers come in, tell the students how to resolve it themselves, so that from kindergarten up to tertiary, up to whatever level, you are taught, trained to resolve issues among themselves instead of using
somebody
coming in. So this is now showing in the way we do things. So that in case I disagree with my competitor, what I will do is just to go and block it. That is criminal. That is, we don't have the right to do that.
Okay.
So I think now we have to appeal to all Ghanaians. This is our country. This is the only place we call Ghana. And it is Ghanaians who can build this country. And I tell all my students, since my relocation to Gimpa 2018, I've told everybody that I wouldn't want to live anywhere in the world apart from Ghana now. Because it's a very good place. But Ghanaians have to make it work.
Ghanaians have to make it work. I'll just give you some more details and I'll come to you, Bernard. The 2 people arrested by the Wager Divisional Police Command are 42-year-old James Mensah, who is the facilities manager for West Hills Mall, and Samuel Anum Ejay, a 44-year-old contractor. So information is that on Saturday, October 30, the police at Wager received a distress call at 2 a.m. from the security man at China Mall that some persons were there with a truck tipping off huge boulders at the entrance of China Mall. 2 a.m. operation. The police immediately moved to the scene, confirmed the report. The 2 suspects who were at the scene made an attempt to bolt, but were escaped by the police after a chase. So Mr. Mensah and Anum are said to have admitted to the offense and have been cautioned, currently in police custody, assisting with investigations. The rocks have been moved from the entrance to China Mall, and the preliminary investigation suggests that the West Hills Mall is in competition with China Mall. Bernard, Charlie, what the move?
The fact that you are hungry doesn't mean eat with 2 hands.
The fact that you're hungry doesn't mean you eat two hands.
The fact that Ghana needs investment does not mean that this expatriate can do anything anyhow. And if you look at the shareholding structure of some of these companies, majority come from foreign direct investment. And when they come to our country, they do feel that money can do everything. And that is even at the back of the fact that some of them think that they can buy the Ghana Police Service. Other than that, whom is right senses to do this? It is simply because they feel in our country, Ghana, once you have money, the law doesn't work. And that is the thinking they have. If you have had a chance to work with some of these expatriates and the foreign direct investors, they believe that for your country, you can buy your country. Look, in Ghana today, about 5% of Ghana, our passport allegedly have been held by foreign people without going through the due process. If you check through the Ghana Birth and Death Registry, a lot of foreigners are holding our birth certificate. It's simply because most of these foreigners do feel and think that Ghana is safe for them. Other than that, why will owners and facility operators of Western or China Mall begin to think that they can take the laws into their hands? And that is where, for me, I still want to go back to the IGP. He's lifting the Ghana police to a certain standard close to that of Singapore, UK, and America. He has to put his feet down. And once he begins to come out with more punitive mechanisms and the law begin to work, we all go home safe. Other than that, these foreigners, though they have money, but money is not all. Money without law is lawlessness.
Money without law is lawlessness. Any comments you have? Would love to have them from you. 055-556-1034. Who is above the law? We should be careful because we are setting a precedent. The citizens are watching. If an MP is untouchable, who are we? And then you continue by saying, I was at Wessels Mall yesterday. I think the Chinese intentions were clean, according to you. The Chinese had gone for a permit, they would have been denied, looking at the proximity and type of business. Interesting. A couple more messages here. The law has been abused by the people who power is given to deal with the law. From Ayawasu by election day today, it's been the tactics, and I wonder what the lecturer is saying about that. If people accuse Rawlings of human rights abuses, what are we witnessing now? Interesting times indeed. And then you talked about how the government arrested Dr. Tony Edu in church some time back, and you are drawing parallels with what is happening today. Keep them coming in. 055-556-1034. Who assigned these policemen to go to the church premises in the first place? If police administration seem not to be aware of that arrest. This is from Mercy Asiedua. And some of you are answering our question about the Ashanti Culture Week. Last question before we go. So, is the IGP allowing himself to be used? Is a question that you are asking. Please put your names here. So, good stuff. So, thank you so much. Look at other stories in the papers. This is a big one. It affects what happens when you retire. Because the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has disclosed that only 6% of informal sector workers are on the pension scheme. So your carpenter, your plumber, those who are not wearing suit and tie and sitting in AC, 6% of them are on the pension scheme. So 600,000 out of a total of 10.2 million workers in the formal sector are currently enrolled, at least on a pension scheme. How do the numbers increase? How do we bump these numbers up, Dr. Alanijinde?
You see, for a very long time, people were not even aware that if you are running your own shop, you can also take up some of these policies. So for a very long time, we've neglected the private sector and then focused only on the public sector workers. Now, there's a new leadership at the MPRA level. So I was glad to hear that even last week, for instance, they were in Ashanti region, they were in the market, try to synthesize the people, to inform them, to educate them that, look, you cannot continue doing what you are doing. When you get to 80, 90, you cannot come. So put something aside. And from the reaction I got, I think people are now beginning to realize that it is important to put something aside for the rainy day. Okay. So it is important that we encourage them. And then by doing so, you see, most government institutions, they don't encourage people to buy into some of these products. Because you go there and then you see that the girl is there chatting, you wait 5 minutes, she's even not customer service. If you want people to patronize your services, your customer relations must be perfect. Not perfect, must be good. Must be encouraging and enticing. But if you go to a place to do business, they just are sitting there chatting. And I must say, last month also, I went to Achimota, GRA, to do some business. And then what I experienced there.
What did you experience?
I went to the first front deck. Her name is Ajewa. I went and sat there for 5 minutes. This girl was chatting.
Oh, you've called out Ajewa seriously?
Yeah, I know her.
Oh, you know Ajewa?
I intentionally asked. So after 5 minutes, oh, what can I do for you? So when I started talking, her friends go, oh, and I cried, order.
What?
So I want to complain to her boss, one Mr. Dabanka.
Oh, you are calling them out seriously?
And that man, when I went to him, he's the rudest GRO. I intend to go and report him to the regional revenue commissioner.
I thought the thing would
very rude, very insolent, so full of themselves. I think GRA, the people at Achimota GRA, change all of them.
Wow.
From here, I'm writing to the Commissioner General. And Mr. Dabanka, I'm going to send me a letter personally. I will go there.
Wow.
You see, you can't build a country like that. We all want revenue, but you have to encourage people to pay taxes. It's not easy to pay taxes. So if I've come there to do business, to enable me pay taxes, and you put all these hurdles, when I went to the man's office, I stood there for almost 10 minutes before he told me. I said, can I sit down? At a point, he was so rude. I told him, be civil here.
Oh, the guy really got your goat.
So I told him, this is not the end of the story. He said, okay, I won't do it for you. I took it, sat in my office, called one of my students. They came to my office, went and did it for me.
So this is, how do you link this to the low informal pensions?
Services, services, customer services. You see, the person does not know. You have to encourage him or her, educate her, entice her, let her understand why she should put something aside. But if you go there and people are sitting and chatting, you see, I feel very offended when I see the way we do things here.
Dr. Anna, if Mr. Dabanka and Ajewa apologize to you, will you stay?
It's not about me. It's not about me. I asked one of my colleagues, Dr. Otumante. He also experienced the same thing at Achimota.
You are opening fire on them seriously.
From here, I'm going to the GRA office. I've prepared my letter. After that, I'll go and send Mr. Dabanka personally.
Temper justice with mercy.
No. If we do that, we cannot build this country.
We can't build the country. But yes, you have a lot of experience with people in the informal sector.
Right.
And what you do, agribusiness and entrepreneurship. 6% of informal sector workers on the pension scheme. Dr. Anna Nijinde says sometimes the attitude of the public sector people puts them off to even want to access some of these products for their own future.
Right.
Do you have a different opinion?
Kafu, I'll give you 2 countries as a case study. I'll take UK and Mauritius. Mauritius today is a financial hub of the world. What do they have? Service industry. Let me take you to UK. What does UK have that Ghana doesn't have? Service industry. If you give quality customer service, it builds public trust. And let me tell you in confidence, people have more money under their bed than in the bank. In Ghana today, people have more monies under their bed than we have in the banks. Because they don't trust most of these financial institutions. Look, somebody is a cocoa farmer, a millionaire, a cocoa farmer in a certain village. He walks to your bank and you treat him anyhow. He goes back home with his money. My late grandfather was a millionaire by all standards. He was sleeping on his money before he died. He would never take his money to the bank. He said, look, I won't go to my cocoa farm and work for my money. And a certain bank teller will disrespect me. I'll prefer to keep my money and sleep on it and die.
Under the mattress.
Yes, it was a mattress. That's what they say, washada. So people were sleeping on money. And it is happening today. It's still happening because they don't have respect from these public services. So you see, I want to commend the current, is that the Director General or whatever, the MPRA. In one region, for some years back, we never had offices for MPRA. Today we have. I think he's making it that reach out to more people than we have. The private sector arguably is the engine of growth. However, the public sector do feel that they are not being respected. So the tomato seller, the onion seller in that market, who sleeps on his or her money, what will entice her to contribute to pension? Public respect. So if that customer service officer at MPRA will be more decorum and show respect, people will bring you money. And you see, if you can aggregate all these small monies to the national pool, it makes money available for public investment. Today, government wants to borrow. But if MPRA can be able to mobilize money from the market women, the farmers, cocoa farmers, what it does is that it makes money available for public investment. Because you see, NPRA takes money for long-term investment. So the terminals we want to build, the road we want to build, the hospital we want to build, if NPA has money, then it can make this money available to the public sector, then government can borrow.
And your argument is that we can get all this money from the people who are being disrespected right now.
Yes. Okay. So if you respect the people you don't respect, it makes money available into a big pool, then the big pool makes available to government. Government can construct better road.
That's all. I've seen the link.
There's an international trade fair going on in Dubai. Did you see the videos? You go to Ghana stand, the girls were sitting there chatting. Go to Ethiopia stand, they welcome you with tea. You see, what is this? Who engages these people? So who sent them to Dubai? Are they party people or is somebody's girlfriend? Please, this country can be built, but it is by change of attitude.
I love your vim. Can you come again next week?
I'll come.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kweku Anani Jinde is a corporate governance expert, a passionate lawyer, and a teacher. And I'm sure your students are saying, hey, do they have a nickname for you?
Well, they call me German Burger.
German Burger is in town. Thank you.
Papa, no, when you come late, I will send you home.
Thank you, like a German.
Last 2 years, I sent one minister and then one pastor home. Before they came low.
Please.
They came late.
Please run it like that. We like it. We can't move when people behave, more people behave like you. And Bernard Odrotechi is regional coordinator for CAYE West Africa. I've enjoyed that interaction so much. And thank you so much. Stories that you should be interested in. There was some confusion at Swami last week. As a committee has been set up to investigate disturbances at Swami police station. So the police arrested some soldier in a mufti riding an unlicensed bicycle, and his people came to spirit him away from there. There was a bit of a confusion there, and so there was a joint statement from the Chief of Defense Staff and the IGP, the police. So they are looking at that situation. There are stories. People are running away from treasury bills. So they say the rate is dropping like a stone from the skies, and so people are moving away from T-bills into other things that will keep their money so investors flee T-bills due to drop in interest rates and going for bond market. That's the finder. We have more stories here. I want to just alert you. President is off to Glasgow. He's in the world of haggis right now. It's the COP26 conversations. There's a pre-budget conversations that are coming up pretty soon. Focus on agric and manufacturing to deliver jobs, says Professor Quarte of ISA. There's a strange disease that has broken out in the Savannah region. 8 people have died. Full story on page 17. If you're in the Savannah region, please watch out for that. And that brings us to the end of our headlines. This morning has been really, really powerful. Ajewa and Mr. Dabanka. Charlie, I can't talk much. What I can say though is that Valerie is ready, looking like an Ashanti princess. So beautiful and regal and royal in her gold and her sandals, and she's going to give us keep an eye. Maybe it's coming from Ashanti, who knows. Valerie, over to you, Ohima.
Thank you, Kaf Medase. So we are crossing cameras, we're going, this is the intercity edition of GTV Breakfast, and we're celebrating Ashanti Cultural Week. We are crossing to Kumasi, we are going to Menchia. This is where we are keeping an eye from this morning. Alan is at Menchia. We are looking at the Menchia Palace. We are looking at how Menchia Palace is being modernized. What was the Menchia Palace before? What is Menchia looking like today? And then we are going to also have a glimpse into the future of what the Menchia Palace will look like. So Alan is behind me now. Alan, speak to us. What's happening at Menchia?
Hey, welcome to Menchia, Ohene Nana Valerie Danso. Good morning to you once again. I'm here live from the Menchia Palace. Menchia Palace, sited a kilometer away from the Center for National Culture, was built in 1925. This was after the Third Ashanti-Anglo War, which led to the breaking down of the old palace and a rebuilding in 1925 of the new palace, and also ushered in the return of Nana Prempeh from Seychelles, where he has been exiled by the colonial masters at that time. we're here this morning to look at what Menchia had been in that time past, which is from 1925 till now, and also a possible window into the future. And gracefully, we have been joined by the monarchical historian here at the Menchia Palace. He's no ordinary person, but Opening Safo Kantanka. I'm going to bring him on, and then we're going to go straight into understanding what Menchia was, what Menchia is today, and a window into the future. Opening Safo Kantanka, please join me.
Okay.
Good morning, and very thank you for joining us at the GTV breakfast this morning in the Menchia Palace. First of all, the word Menchia must definitely have a root and an origin. Please, where does it come from and what does it mean?
Menchia is a Twi word.
Good.
And Twi is a language of the Akan people. This Twi word, Menchia, has two parts. That is man and Shia. So, under normal circumstances, going to the very root of the word, we will come by man, which is state, and Shia, meeting place. So Menchia is a meeting place of people or citizens. But it again has other meanings. It has other meanings because it depends on how the area or the town called Menchia came about. Now, if probably somebody met danger in a place, we say Weshia. Meaning he's met
an accident.
An accident or danger.
Sure.
This can be a name of a place.
Wow.
Which could also be Menchia, where the state or the town suffered something. It can also mean where people are being thankful to people for giving them a place. Menchiawa. But for you, I would not have got what I've got.
Okay.
That is also Menchia.
Thank you very much. Openi, let's look at 1924. And in 1925, when Prempeh I had returned from exile in Seychelles and would have to be the first occupant of the old palace, what was the state of the old palace, and what was his immediate action or reaction before occupying the old palace?
Yeah, the British had exiled or had taken the king of Ashanti.
Let's try and get to the gate.
Away from his own country to another person's country.
Sure.
I would not say exile because exile would mean somebody's country and then maybe taking you out of somebody's country.
Okay.
But he was in his own country. And being in my own country, you cannot say you are exiling me to another place where that place is not my country. So it is very unfortunate that he was taken away. That is preferably, that is the word that we can use, that the king was whisked away from his own country to another person's country. So here we have to avoid the word exile. When he was taken away, he spent about 20 years. And within the 20 years, the British again decided that ruling the Ashanti kingdom was virtually impossible without their king. Okay. So they decided to bring him back so that he was to help them rule the kingdom which they had taken over from its owners. So what happened was that the people asked, where is our king going to stay if he should come back? The British had demolished the king's palace, right, and a very large area which had a lot of buildings, right, putting the buildings together, almost a township. And the British had destroyed this area and before taking away the king. So bringing him back would mean where was he then going to stay? So the British decided that they will build another palace, smaller than actually what was originally there. So what happened was that after completing that building in 1924, the building was completed in 1924, but not at the original place where the palace was. Right. The original place where the palace was is at the present Central Post Office.
Okay.
Yeah, the present Central Post Office
is
where the old palace of the Ashanti Kingdom was. Just direct opposite the post office. So that place is now occupied by the fort of which the British built.
Right.
That is where they have the military museum.
Sure.
The very spot where they have the military museum was the very spot where the King's Palace stood.
We're told Nana Prempeh the First, when he had to occupy that palace, refused to do so until he had paid for it. Let's take it from there as to whether or not he paid fully or there was an agreement. We're bringing it all the way into the current state of Menchia and the palace itself.
Well, when he was brought in 1924, it took him a whole year before he came to occupy the new palace. Now, before then, he was staying at Asafo by the chief of Asafo.
Okay.
And at a certain point, he left the place and came to live near where we have the Melcom.
Okay.
And there was a place which came to be known as Kumasi Hine House.
Okay.
That house has been demolished today, and a certain huge structure by the Melcom has been put up there. Right. So he lived at two places before moving in here. Right. As you're saying, he had decided never to move in until he had paid fully the amount used in building that house.
Wow.
That is the nature of people called the Ashanti people. When they realize that you are not in good terms with them, they don't like anything about you or anything coming from you. So he had noticed that the British were actually real enemies of the kingdom.
Okay.
So they had destroyed the kingdom to the point that they could not have any good motive of putting up a whole house and dashing it out to the king. The king was suspicious.
I understand.
Yeah. So he indeed paid in full before moving in.
Right. Let's look at what the palace is today. From when Dasibre Asantehene today, Nana was I hope I'm not confusing myself, but Otumfuo said to the second. Yes. Yeah, Otumfuo said to the second. When he enthroned or he ascended the throne, the state of things were what he had inherited from the immediate past king. He obviously embarked on a certain agenda to ensuring that indeed we do no longer continue to live in the past, but at least there is a forward-looking era. Can you please bring us up to speed into some of the things he embarked on? We have heard about education fund, employment or unemployment, as well as internal infrastructure to enhance development in Ashanti.
Let's take it from the internal infrastructure.
Sure.
Whoever knew Menchia a few years back would know that before his coming, everything was in a gradual process of build. By his speed, he put up a lot of energy to speed up the infrastructure development, to the point that in those days, all this place was untarred. The whole place was untarred. There were no walls, and the very buildings that you see around are not the same buildings that were there some years back. He put up a number of structures to enhance the old infrastructure that he came to meet. So over and above that, we are all not unaware of the very many activities that he has embarked on. He has established a lot of farms, which has given a lot of employment to very many people. He embarked on educational infrastructure. He's built, helped build a lot of schools, helped build, improve the infrastructure of many schools from primary to even university level.
Just not cutting you through, but to take leave of you so we can move on to other things. Bring us into a window into the future, given where we've come from, where we are today. I'm asking you to predict or project, but seeing what you have seen, can you tell us what may likely be the case? Give ourselves another decade.
Yes, looking at the caliber of person who is occupying the golden stool today, we are sure that we will see innumerable infrastructure activity and other developmental activities. Not only infrastructure, but job opportunities, educational opportunities, health opportunities, all are what he has his hands on and moving at a very fast speed with such development.
Thank you so very much, Openi Safo Kantanka, the monarchical historian who's been with us this morning, gave us a picture of what it was, what it is today, and a possible window into the future. We've come to you live from the Menchia Palace on #GTV Breakfast. Thank you so very much, and back to you in the studio, Valerie.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for that report. That was my colleague, Alan. He came to us from Menchia. We got educated on some brief history where Menchia is now and what Menchia might look like or would look like in the future. We are crossing cameras now. The hashtag to follow is still GTV Breakfast. We are celebrating Ashanti Cultural Week. That's why we are looking the way we are. We are looking this nice. My outfit was put together. Telma and our outfit was put together by Rit Cultural. She's on Facebook and Instagram. And then also our accessories and our kente is by Savida Kente on Facebook and Instagram. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We are taking a quick detour into some dancing from the Ashanti Kingdom.
Nana tachiwa na me friend said the nyanko so my friend so anopahema aboa no makodi ebietu an motu an nsema bojabum eno makodi esi nuamu so menuamu so eno manu mewra eni ehunu ya fanyam se bekoso so okutukuntu emu o kanta emu ye friend ajiji nsu afi accident enso na fo obu akuma mu asere wasipa bum nantuo nana koya nkodi biweba.
It's been a glorious morning, and we are learning a lot about the Ashanti culture. Thank you so much for that amazing welcome. I don't even know where that came from, but if you've just joined us, you've missed quite a bit already, but there's still so much more to come on GTV Breakfast. And we are live from Accra and also live from Kumasi. We are celebrating Ashanti Cultural Week today, and we are glad that you've made time to join us. Let's just take a quick detour away from all the culture and focus on some business activities. And we have the Ghana Chamber of Mines in the studio. They are celebrating Mines Safety Week, and they are here to tell us all about it. And so, as part of its mission to represent the mining industry in Ghana using the resources and capabilities of its members to deliver services that address members' government and community needs in order to enhance development. And as the industry deals with heavy equipment, machinery, safety precautions are key. So today, two gentlemen have joined me in the studio to have this important conversation. Nana Ando is an environmental consultant for the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Good morning, Nana. Welcome.
Good morning, Nana.
And Nana, so today my Ashanti name is Nana Efia Techua. Techua is my name, by the way. Philip Thompson has also joined us. He is Health and Armed Safety Superintendent, Future Global Resources. Philip, welcome as well.
Thank you, Nana.
Your impression so far about Ashanti presentation this morning?
It's awesome.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Nana?
I'm really surprised, but then the other side of the story is that I'm also Nana, so at least I know a little bit about it. But it's good.
So it's a Nana something.
Yes.
We are glad to have you here. So you're doing this on mine safety. Obviously, safety is important, especially at the mines. Yeah. What would you say Ghana's statistics, how have we fared so far when it comes to safety at our mines?
Thank you, Nana. Just to bring you back a little bit, some years ago when we were in school, a lot of people, there were two jobs people didn't want to do, mining and the military. And the idea was that there, any small thing happens and a lot of people are dying, you go to the mine, and then your parents will not even think about you again. But that was all because safety was not properly in place those days. You get a small accident and a whole lot of people are out. Now, I can tell you for sure that there's a lot of improvement in safety, and the statistics are that occasionally you hear something happening, but it's not been bad, it's good. We have a very good safety record now in the mining companies.
Philip, what would you say has been the role of the organizations like yours and the Ghana Chamber of Mines in maintaining safety standards in the industry?
Yeah, thank you, Nana. This program that we are having is a yearly event which started far back in 1977. And we, as a chamber and the industry, we take this as an opportunity to educate our citizenry. And it has been, gradual improvement from year to year, and our awareness that we've been creating in the community. We used to have it only in the catchment community that we operate, and through the chamber we decided to go to the national level to ensure that our national populace also get to know some safety tips and the first aid that we champion or we preach in our catchment to go wide in Ghana and also beyond.
What would you say is the level of knowledge or awareness of safety issues among the rural folks? Because that's where the mines are usually cited.
Yeah, I would say it is, when you rank it from the area where we do our business, the awareness is so high than even in Accra and some of the cities we have in Ghana. Because the mining industry has inculcated some sort of culture in the community that we operate. Because when you come to the mine, the safety protocols are very, very high, and everyone that comes to the mine would have to change the culture that he brought from outside. So with that, our community has really, really also come up to the level of the mining companies that we operate. So the awareness over there, it's very, very high as compared to other places.
Now, in what ways do you think we can continue to empower society in general and the mining communities to keep safety issues at the center of everyday life?
Thank you. In fact, we have to keep what we're doing now. First of all, we keep educating people, telling them exactly what it is. I mean, talk about safety. What is safety? Or talk about normal, we interpret as an accident or whatever it is. These are normally created by two issues. Either a condition is not safe or the action of the person is not safe. So the insistence on these two, just take it like you are driving on a slippery road and you are moving very fast. The road is the condition, is bad. You can have an accident, and if you drive fast, that action is also bad. So these two can still constitute and this is where we lay emphasis in educating people in the community and even on the mine.
I just wonder if you wanted to add something.
Oh yeah. What I also wanted to add is we, as a what do you call it? As an industry, we organize training in the communities that we operate. For instance, yearly we engage some of the government or agencies like National Road Safety Commission. They also come around, and we've also seen that road accident is of high in our catchment, and we use these agencies as part of our awareness creation in our community and catchment.
Right. Has COVID-19 affected operations at all when it comes to mine safety?
Well, okay, like all other organizations, yes, we were affected. But the good thing about it is that we took action right from the beginning, so that the protocols are such that you can't even enter the mine if you don't observe the protocols. And I think it has been good. It hasn't been affected. The mine hasn't been affected so much as was expected because of the initial actions taken to combat this. By just observing the protocol strictly.
It's Mine Safety Week. What's the focus area for this year's celebration?
The theme of this, because of this pandemic, is that you have to protect yourself and protect everybody else. So that's the theme. And
protect yourself and everybody else.
Yes, because by protecting yourself, you also protect others.
What's the celebration going to look like? When is it starting? Where?
Okay, it's a week-long program. It's starting right from today, and we'll be climaxing the competition with the first aid and the safety competition, which will be held on Sunday. What do you know? Previously, we used to have it on site, but because of the pandemic, we decided as a chamber that we are bringing it to the national level. So this Sunday, coming Sunday, we'll have it on GTV here at and 4 companies are going to compete on safety and first aid, and the one who will win will be awarded with some good awards that will be showcasing on Sunday. So the whole of the week is going to be a media engagement as we are doing today. Tomorrow it will continue from other sister companies. So it's all about preaching health and safety to our citizenry.
Right. Your final words now before we wrap.
Well, my final words is that, like we normally say, the wealth of the people is much dependent on their health. So it's good to keep a healthy community. If you want a wealthy community, then the community should be healthy.
Right. Philip, would you want to make any final submissions?
Yeah, okay. What I'll say is safety is everyone's responsibility. So when we take care of ourselves and we take care of our neighbors, we'll all live in a very good harmony and a safe environment. So we entreat everyone to take health and safety as an integral part of everything that we do every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana and Philip, for sharing part of your morning with us. As you celebrate Mine Safety Week, we wish you a successful celebration. And we'll look forward to the What Do You Know on Sunday, first aid and safety, you said. So big prizes coming up for the winners. The Ghana Chamber of Mines is celebrating its Mine Safety Week. So Nanando, an environmental consultant from the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Thank you, Nana. And Philip Thompson, Health and Armed Safety Superintendent, Future Global Resources. Thank you, Philip, for also being here. And they are having a week-long engagement, media engagement from station to station, channel to channel, with a culmination on Sunday on What Do You Know. So you need to watch What Do You Know on Sunday. That's also live on GTV. So we'll be back to have a conversation on the culture of the Ashanti people. We have our historian ready to tell us who they are, where they come from, and hopefully where they are going. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.
And they call you Jay.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Thanks for staying with us, and we are celebrating Ashanti Cultural Week on GTV Breakfast this week. My lovely outfit was put together by Savida, and we were styled by Ritz Cultural. Follow Savida on Instagram and follow Ritz Cultural on Facebook. On Instagram, they are also Ritz Cultural. The number is 024-519-5884. So Ritz Cultural styled us, and the outfits were provided by Savida Kente. So buy all your authentic gourmet kente from Savida. Follow them on Instagram. And we are grateful to our other sponsors, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, Shoulder Acrylic Paint, and Awake Mineral Water, Lufat for the health segment, and later on Airtel Tigo will take over the Yellow Couch. Right now we are seated to have a historical conversation, and we're trying to get to know the Ashanti people and who they are. The Asantehene Otumfo Seitutu has made so much impact in development, and he has an iconic celebration coming up very, very soon. So as we build up to that celebration, we just want to know who the Ashantis are. To help me to delve into that matter, lawyer and historian Mr. Anoche Frimpong has joined us on the table. Mr. Anoche Frimpong, welcome once again.
Thank you, madam.
So, Ashantis, you're from Asante 4. Who are the Ashanti people?
When we talk about the Ashanti people, we are also talking about the Akan people. And we are saying that because the Akans believe that they migrated from the ancient Ghana Empire. They were in Ghana. The empire was conquered by Mali. And then you would learn that the famous Malian emperor, what do you call him, Mansa Musa, traveled all the way to Mecca, Islamized, and imposed Islam on everybody. And so the Akans had to migrate because Akan religion at that time was completely against Islam. And when they got to the forest belt around Techiman, the horses could not penetrate to chase them. And so they founded the first Akan kingdom there. That was the Bono Techiman kingdom. Now when the people felt a bit secure, they started migrating downwards. And then a group of the Twi-speaking Akans settled within the Pra Ofen Basin. And around that time, people, and when I say people, I should talk about the Dansi, I should talk about the Trifo, and especially the Denchira people, subdued the Ashantis. And they were initially the Amansia clans. And they decided to come together in order to fight at all times for their independence and survival. So the word Asante means Esa-enti, because of war. Let us come together. So that was the origin of the Asante people. And their first settlement was around Asante Manso, not far from present-day Esumeja. And then the first kings of the Ashantis were from Ekwana clan. The first king of Asante, for there were two, Chum and Entry, followed by Kobia Mefi. Then the third one was Oti Akente, who was an Oyoko as the present Osei Tutu, because the people felt that the Kwana people were so weak and could not give them the security and safety that they needed. And so Oti Akente started building. Unfortunately, he was not so successful against the Doma people who were always pursuing them. And so he left, that is, he died. Then Obiri Yabua came as the first king of Ashanti. He was killed by the Domas, and then Osei Tutu came. When Osei Tutu became king, in actual fact, he had already studied the art of warfare and kingship in Denchira. At a certain point, when he was accused of having impregnated the niece of the Denchira, he fled to his friend Okomfo-Anokye in Akwemu. And at that time, among the accounts, the people who knew real military technology were the Akwemu people. So Osei Tutu was so happy to be there to study that, as people do today, that they need spiritual fathers. Osei Tutu also felt that being the next king of Ashanti, he needed a spiritual father and a great advisor. And he found it in Okomfo-Anokye, who traveled with him to Ashanti upon the demise of his uncle Obiri Yabua.
And closely linked to Okomfo-Anokye and his story with the Ashantis is what brought about the golden stool. Tell us about that.
Very good. What brought about the golden stool was that, as I've already said, Asante Manso belonged to the Ekwana clan. And then the king I mentioned, Otia Kente, was a Kwaman king. That was Oyoko. He belonged to the Oyoko clan. And Okomfo-Anokye, in fact, history says, when you read the short history of Ghana by W.E. Ward, he says Okomfo-Anokye was one of the greatest Africans who ever lived. Okomfo-Anokye felt that if Osei Tutu could unite all the states under him and give them a neutral leadership and would make the people forget the past so that they would serve him and move forward, then he needed a neutral capital. And that was why we are told that 2 Kuma trees were planted. And the one in which grew to become Kumasi was one that survived and became the capital. Indeed, let's take away the spiritual and the magical aspect. The most important thing was that Okomfo-Anokye was looking for a neutral capital, 2, a spiritual capital, a strategic capital, and a commercial capital. And we get it in Kumasi, because if you travel to Ashanti region today, you will see that they are the only people who have their capital more or less in the center of their region. And then every day, all the cars travel to Kumasi. They don't go to the north, they don't go to south or east. They come to the center, and that is Kumasi. And so Okomfo-Anokye will be credited with that. The next thing, as you asked, is about the golden stool. Okomfo-Anokye felt that there were some stools in Ashanti older than the stool of the new Asantehene he was creating, older than his stool. And so what he said to him was that on this particular Friday, we should gather all the chiefs of Ashanti here in Kumasi, the new capital, and ensure that all those who will come, and I mean all the chiefs of Ashanti like Ofenso, like Jabe, Ejeso, Mampong, Bekwai, Isuka, and all others, will bring their stools. They brought the stools, he buried all the stools, and we are told that he commanded a golden stool from the skies. The philosophy behind it was that after your stool had been buried and they had given you a new stool, which is a golden stool, from now on you cannot tell a story that my stool is older than the Asantehene stool. The oldest stool in Ashanti is the golden stool.
And that is why the Asantehene, Nana, Yamachi, Utrinkwa, we know that the Asantehene is known as Ote Kokoso, or Yohene Ote Kokoso, where the Kokoso means the golden stool. And now you've just explained how relevant the golden stool is to us. The Ashantis conquered many kingdoms. Speak to us a bit about their conquest, because I believe that it's led to how they've risen to become one of the most powerful clans in Ghana and even beyond.
Yes, you see, when you talk about the Ashanti conquest, some people will make the mistake of thinking that Ashanti was a warlike nation. They started as a farming people under Adansi for some time. Then later Denchira conquered Adansi. So Ashanti automatically had to serve Denchira. Then at a certain point, the Denchirahene made the mistake of asking the Ashanti chiefs to send all their pretty wives, as you are sitting here, to Abankasia, so the capital of Denchira, together with a brass pan to be filled with gold. So the Jabehini got up and said his wife Brebre would not go. And then Osetutu also had to respond that
he sounds like something that would have trended back then. Brebre would not go hashtag.
Amanietu would not go. And slashed off the ears of the Chinese messengers. That immediately sparked war. And in that war, Denchira was defeated. Now the relevance of Denchira's defeat to Ashanti was that Denchira had been able to defeat Elmina and collected the castle notes of Elmina Castle. And so every year, the Europeans were paying big rent to them. It came to the hands of the Ashanti people. And Ashanti, it also enabled Ashanti more or less to have some direct route to the coast in order to trade with the European people. And that made Ashanti a very powerful nation. But more than that, Okomfo taught them that in order to secure your position on top, you should try to annex the surrounding nations. And when you annex them, don't call them Yankua, as the Denchiras were doing. When the Denchira defeat you, they call you Akwa. When Ashanti defeat you, they call you Yenuya. And so the Ashanti nation began expanding beyond understanding.
Because they made the people they conquered a brother and not a slave.
Yes, and they kept your culture intact. One of them was when they were able to go to Dahomey and defeat them and brought them into the empire. The Dahomeans started building very beautiful houses in Ashanti. The Ashantis preserved the Dahomean culture to the extent that the houses in Ashanti built by the Dahomey people were called Atapa Medan. And then when they conquered, to preserve their culture. And then when they conquered Bono, the German chief called Edinkra, the cloth he was wearing, which is still a very important function of the Ashanti system, they still gave it the name Edinkra Entoma. And then the Nzima people who helped them during Opoku Ware's time, they still preserve a place near Agric in Kumasi called Nziba. So Ashanti is an institution which is completely different from all others, always embracing other people and then always see that others are brothers. You go to Kumasi, you have Ashanti New Town. Fanti New Town. You go to Kumasi, we have Anwologa. And the Asante called the Mosi Hine, me papa, my father. It doesn't mean that it's his father or there's ever a Mosi blood in them. But they are always thinking about a beautiful way of comradeship.
At a time when a lot of chieftaincy institutions are struggling and there are a lot of disputes, the Ashanti chieftaincy has received a lot of commendation because it appears that it has very, very little, I've not heard of any, very, very little dispute when it comes to who ascends to the throne. How do you think they've been able to do this through the years until now?
Yeah, the credit will still go to Okomfo Anokye and Osei Tutu. You know, they were actually the architects of the Ashanti nation. And one of the things they institutionalized was that the statement today that Yanya Dom Entia Asante Hine. You know, whatever the Asante Hine says is final. Whatever he says is final. And then the Ashantis also believe that they've got the requisite customs and conventions and all the laws that would enable them to settle their own qualms rather than going to court. So that has helped them to today. But the most important aspect of it all is that unlike in all other institutions, call them Ga, Ezema, Fanti, Hunter, Achim, whatever, the stool, the black stool of the Omanyene or the divisional chief is his personal or by extension a family stool. In the case of the Asante Hene, the golden stool he occupies, he doesn't sit on it. It is the soul of the Ashanti nations. And the Ashanti people believe that the one who occupies the golden stool, whatever he says, is final. And that nobody must go against the golden stool. With that, the Asante is able to resolve all chieftaincy conflicts, unlike in other areas of the country.
So do you think that that's one of the things that has made him to be so revered, even among his peers, even among his fellow chiefs in the country? If you compare the Asantehene to others, he commands a lot of respect. And is that what accounts for it?
One of the things that would account for the respect Asantehene has got, and you can't say his peers. No, you can't just say his peers in Ghana. In fact, the Asante Kingdom is globally acknowledged that at the peak of its apogee, at the apogee, very good, at the apogee of its brightness, Ashanti commanded an army equal to all those in Western Europe, like the Duke of Wellington's army, like Napoleon's army. So, I mean, it is sad to say, but the truth is that it doesn't have a comparison here. In fact, it was only the Ashanti people who were able to stand the British, fought them 5 times. And even the last war, the Yasantua War, where they were completely defeated, their pride was kept intact because the essence of the war was to protect the Goldings, to which they succeeded in doing. Now coming down a bit, Ashanti will be remembered as the only kingdom in Africa that was able to withstand colonial influence for about 200 years, because Ashanti was built in 1697 thereabout, and so it became under the British in 1900. Then, I mean, there is no argument against what I'm saying. Then coming down constitutionally, the first Republican Constitution of Ghana state categorically that in the National House of Chiefs it will be made up of the Asantehene and other paramount chiefs of Ghana. So it means that if no name is mentioned, but the name or the position of the Asantehene has been recognized from the First Republic to date in our own constitution, then we should just understand the unique position that the Asantehene occupies. That's it.
Where do they get their pride? The pride they have in who they are, where does it come from?
The pride they have in who they are would come from the fact that Ashantis are learners. They learn, and when they learn, they practice what they have learned. Ashantis are people who easily imbibe and assimilate. So when you go to Ashanti, you've got the Mosi people, the Ewa people, Fanti people, everybody, and they feel proud to be Ashantis. Ashantis are the only people who are not found in one region. They are found in Northern Volta region, part of Central region, they are found in Eastern region, New Jabin, and then part of them in Western region, and then they also controlled an area 3 times the size of present-day Ghana. In fact, the entire eastern part of Ivory Coast belonged to Ashanti. Burkina Faso and some part of the then Mali Empire came under Ashanti. Corn in Senegal, and then Guinea came under Ashanti. Dahomey came under Ashanti. And in 1868, Dubois was fighting the Oyo Empire, the Nigerians, to bring under Ashanti. So who so rude, who will not be a Roman? If you belong to a system like this, would you not be happy? And even when the empire was completely down, a woman came up, led them, and fought a war against the British people with a view to protecting the greatest heritage. And even when Kwame Nkrumah became president, he acknowledged the Ashantis as the only people in the world who were able to protect their heritage against the colonial influence. The British took the stone of Scotland, they took the diamonds, all diamonds from India, South Africa, everywhere. But in the case of Ashanti and then Dahomey, and then the Oyo Empire, they took everything they wanted from there. It was only the Ashantis who were able to protect the Goldings too. So if you belong to a system like this, you'll be happy. And Nkrumah honored them by building a secondary school after Yasantua. And you also know that about the year 2000, when we were selecting, the whole world was selecting Africa's greatest men, Ghana was able to have Kwame Nkrumah as the greatest African. When it came to the women, Ghana produced Yasantua, and Asante woman as the greatest African woman of the millennium. Definitely, every Ashanti will be proud about this.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It's like I'm listening to you and I'm hearing your initial comment. You said the Ashanti religion. So it means that there's more to the people than just, just them saying something. I wonder what role would you say the Asantehene has played since he took over the stool, since he was installed, to cement the place of the people of Ashanti in history and even crossing history into education, into infrastructure?
Okay, the Ashantis have a saying that and the Ashantis always,
which means
that your wasi is your in-law, your mother-in-law.
Okay,
actually the center is on your mother-in-law. Definitely it was your mother-in-law who gave birth to the woman you are marrying now, so you should pamper her. But if you are not able to pamper her, then don't steal her ornaments and other things when you visit her house, or when she visits you, don't steal her money.
That's a good
one. The Ashantis believe that any good Asantehene should be compared to or match against whatever Osei Tutu the first and Komfanoche achieved. And that was why they said Opokuwari was a famous king, because he was able to build upon what Komfanoche and Osei Tutu had done. Now our present Otumfuo has been able to maintain and sustain Ashanti unity to date. Then two, what many people did not know until today is that when the Asantehene sits in state, he wears more gold on his body than any human being. The Asantehene has been able to sustain that.
And that's why we have sometimes children. I'm wearing this cloth. If it weighs, it weighs a ton. I can barely raise my arm. I think my shoulder is stuck in. I understand now why he has to have some help to keep his hands up if you're wearing pure gold.
During the time of Nana Opokuwari II, there was a function at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. Later we read that the Asantehene had to be driven to a house very close to the sports stadium in order to be dressed there, because the gold on him was so much wearing on him that if he would start from Menshia, he would break down and die. And so they would have to bring him very close to the sports stadium. And that gives credence to what I'm telling you, that when the Asantehene sits, he wears solid gold on the body. And that makes him a man who wears more gold on his body than any human being on earth.
Why does he need to do that?
He needs to do that because in history, the Ashanti Kingdom is referred to even by the British as the Kingdom of Gold. And if you can just think about South Africa, which has more gold than Ghana, and then the King of Swaziland and the Bantu, name them, all of them would wear leopard skins when they are sitting on gold. And then the Asantehene would wear gold. Then I believe that it is a credit not only to the Ashanti people and the accounts of Ghana, but to the whole nation. After all, we are one people.
My WhatsApp is quiet because I want to believe that everybody is just so engrossed. The whole studio is quiet. Everybody is just so engrossed.
You were asking me the things he did. He has done, the things he has done. He has created the Otumfuo Education Fund. The first year alone, he was able to give benefit to 600 less privileged students.
This was before the time of free SHS.
Long before that. He was installed in 1999. And the first year, that is 99 to 2000, the year 2000, even the minimum was about 600. And that 600, to make Asantehene different from all chiefs, the scholarship was for everybody in the country. Once you apply and you fall within the category, and you still fall within the category, whether you are coming from the north, south, or east, or west, you would qualify for the scholarship, because he sees that Asante is for everybody, not Ashanti people alone. I also know, and I believe you know as a journalist, that during Kufuor's time, Asantehene was able to broker a loan of between $4 million and $6 million for a water project in the Volta region. And I also know that Asantehene would always restore every dormitory in a secondary school in Ghana, provided you will write a proposal to him that is to Manshia. They will support it, and no chief, and truly no chief can do that.
The headmasters and headmistresses are listening. I'm sure they are calling the secretaries. Let's write to Manshia. One of the things that make the culture of the Ashanti people so unique is the kente cloth. How significant is it? Recently, we've had calls that perhaps the design should be patented. So how far have we come, and how much further can we go with kente? Because now it's gone beyond being Ashanti. It's now widely considered as Ghanaian and even African.
It's very sad. You see, this country, Ivory Coast, they don't know how to weave kente. They buy from Ghana and then ship to other countries and patent it. So I've traveled to several countries, and then you go to a shop, and then it's stated the kente from Ivory Coast, and I know it's from Ghana. So I believe that the nation will have to set up. You know, many years ago, people were advocating that even the Black Stars, our national team, should wear kente jersey, and it wasn't done. It is now that we are seeing some skirmishes about that. When you come to Ashanti, the Ashantis believe that because we came from Ghana Empire, we were all growing cotton and wearing batakari. Then at a certain point, they said two Ashanti hunters went to the bush and saw the spider weaving what became known as the kente cloth. Okay. They learned it and came to teach the chief. Now today, to cut a long story short, today, when we talk about kente, strictly speaking, it should be worn by people of a certain class. Okay. And not all the time. You can wear it during funerals. Okay. It is only on festive occasions and where you are showing your pride and opulence.
Okay, great. We'll come back to talk about that kente thing a bit more. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that our WhatsApp is live and you can send your messages. Let me read a few of them. This one says, Auntie Thelma, I'm Auntie now. Auntie Thelma, this is an interesting conversation you are having. Please ask Mr. Anoche where the original golden stool is with the Ashantis. My name is Eddie. Let me answer that. Kindly, okay, there's certain, you know, there's a tone we don't appreciate on this platform. This man is very intelligent. Now I know why Otumfo wears many gold on him. Thank you for sending us that message. Some are answering some of the questions that we've asked this morning. History is indeed beautiful. Ashanti culture is rich, and Ghana is indeed the gateway to Africa. And that's Daniel from East Legon that sent us that message. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, and we'll read as many of them as we can. Someone asked about where the golden stool is.
Please, a lot of people are of the view that either the Ashanti sold the golden stool to the British or that it was captured during the Ya Asantewa War. It is a notion kept by so many people, including certain Ashantis. Please, the truth, and the veritable truth, is that the golden stool is still intact. In fact, when the British governor, Sir Hodgson, entered Kumasi and asked for the golden stool, the Ashantis refused the golden stool, refused to give him the golden stool. And to ask for the golden stool is a sacrilege. And that alone sparked the Yasantewa War. The essence of the Yasantewa War was that there was an Asante man called Kwame Tuya, and whatever the Ashantis planned at that time, he would relay to his son to be given to the white people in Cape Coast. And so, because Kwame Tuya knew where the golden stool was hidden, the white people also knew. And they sent people to take it. It was near Barikase in the Offenso area at that time. Now, the Yasantewa War broke out in order to delay the white people so that they would take away the golden stool from that area. It is on record that in the 1930s, thereabout, they were constructing roads in a village around that area when the contractor bumped upon the golden stool, and immediately it was taken to the Ashanti people. So if anybody has the notion that the golden stool has been taken away, please, you should just revise your syllabus.
Have you ever seen it, I wonder?
Oh, I
have never.
No, when the Asante State
is anyone allowed to see it?
No, because it is not an ordinary stool. In fact, you will make a mistake of thinking that even the Asante sits on it. It is worship. He's not supposed to sit on it. It embodies the soul of the Ashanti nation.
Right. Now, let's go back to what we were saying about the Kente. So many of the messages are coming in, and I've said it. There's a guy, I think I'm going to start blocking people from the WhatsApp, because there's a certain language we do not encourage on our platforms. I would entreat you not to send such things. We foster unity, we foster togetherness, we don't foster divisive tendencies. So I'm sorry, I'm actually going to block you because he keeps sending hateful messages. We're talking about the Kente and about how other countries sometimes buy from us and then send to other countries and put them out as theirs.
Yes, it's simply because we have not been smart enough. And it's also simply because as I'm beginning to conjecture have an inkling of what the person is sending. Some people say the Kente originated from Ewe. Some also say Kente originated from Ashanti. That is not important. We have Ewe Kente cloth, and then we have Ashanti Kente cloth. As a nation, what we should do is to find a way of marketing our system beyond other cultures. And I should also make it known, because of the messages coming, that it is not an Ashanti man who has come here to project Ashanti culture. As I talk to you, I'm an Nzima. I come from Princess Town in the Axim district. I have learned history, and I'm projecting the history of Ghana. I'm not here to speak about the Ashanti people and lie about them. I'm saying the truth about the history of Ghana.
Right. It seems that the Ashantis they appear to have achieved everything there is to achieve. Is there more they could do? What more could we possibly expect from a people who have achieved so much, who have made such a mark that he can travel, go anywhere in all his gold, and he does it? What more could they achieve?
Well, what they can achieve is that when you go to other ethnic groups, there's so many chieftaincy disputes. I believe that Ashanti would have to sell what they have. They have to share with the others. And it is so easy to understand. There are so many chieftaincy disputes in Ghana, but the bottom line is that you resolve it by knowing which family came first. If you know which family came first, then it is easy to weed all away in order to get the sacrosanct. The second one is that as Ashantis always respect the Asante as one king without any question, I believe that other tribes in the country, the Fantes, Achems, whatever, should be able to revere whoever God has given them as their king. Because the Ashantis have also got politicians, they have professors, they have military generals. But beyond all this, they have respect for institutions. And so other Ashanti should be able to talk to their neighbors so that they will imbibe these things.
Well, someone is asking, what happened to Komfanochi's sword?
The Komfanochi sword is right behind the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, and it is still there as a tourist attraction.
I think we are definitely going to have a lot of Kumasi to see, a lot of the Ashanti culture in general. And you've spoken about what the rest of Ghana, what the rest of the world can learn from the Ashanti people. The Asante has occupied the stool for all these years. What apart from the education fund, what are his most iconic achievements to you?
The most iconic achievement I've mentioned is the fact that he has held the kingdom together. And then we talk about the education fund. We also talk about the fact that systematically the Asante has been traveling to various countries to project Ghana. I know that he went to Uganda not long ago and spoke to a universal conglomerate to build a pharmaceutical center in Ghana, whether it will be in Kumasi, Accra, or Ho, or whatever. And then I also know that in some of the elections, whenever they had gone to a peak as to bring about national disturbance, that Santehine tacitly had been talking to people to ensure the continuity and sanctity of peace.
And we know the iconic role that Santehene played in the Dagbon crisis. So his mediation skills are also...
So it's good you've mentioned that. That is what he does. And many other things he does which he does not broadcast to anybody. In fact, he says that if anybody comes to the Asantehene to mediate in any matter, whether coming from Fatima, Hunter, Sefi, whatever, the Asantehene mediates without blowing a horn over it.
Lawyer and historian Anoche Frimpong sharing with us this morning who the Ashanti people are and what they represent. We hope that you've learned a lot. I certainly have. And we are celebrating Ashanti Cultural Week on GTV Breakfast this week. Lawyer, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll have you back here again to look at maybe another aspect of the Ashanti history, and then you'll be here to explain to us. Mr. Anoche is a lawyer and historian. He's been explaining Ashanti culture to us. I've seen all your messages, those of you who are being nice. I've seen all of them, and we'll try and get as many responses to you as possible. We have an in-house team, and they've been entertaining and serenading us with drumming and appellations. And so if you are not an Ashanti person like myself, I am a Ga woman, some of the details you may not understand, but another Ga girl will be looking for those details, seeking to understand what the appellations mean. So you don't want to miss our Yellow Couch segment, brought to you by Airtel Tigo, which is right after the
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Right, guys.
Waya bame, waya bama, waya bame, ah, waya bame, o say tutu waya bame, waya bama, dropping me ya bame, waya bama, koyin ko waya koyin ko waya bama.
Right. We're celebrating the Ashanti Kingdom, and this is the Ashanti Cultural Week. We just met Ekuya Edichimwa. She's going to be telling us about appellations. Now, if you've been to any function or an event, especially when you go to the Ashanti region, you realize that every event begins, it doesn't matter what event it is, it begins with lots of appellations and samani. Right. This is the lifestyle segment, proudly brought to us by Airtel Tigo. So we'll take a quick detour, find out what Airtel Tigo has in store, and then we'll come back and then get to speak about the Ashanti Kingdom and all the appellations that make up the Ashanti Kingdom. Here's a quick break.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show. Live from GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. So we are going to be looking at what appellations are, when appellations should be used, and which ones should be used at particular times. So you have to stick and stay and get your pens and your papers ready, so that the next time you're at an event and then you hear so how do I call you officially? If I was saying Kabium
Akuya Educhimwa Amrosanindi, ubetumi so aframe Akoba, being also framed the ancient ancestral poets.
So there you have it. We have the ancient ancestral poet Ekuya Educhimwa with us. Ekuya Educhimwa, and see Yenkachi and Azayankabo. Yeah, makes it. Okay, so yeah, we are going to do this our own way. Into appellations, no. Event BR, do you have to say use it at every event? When do we have to use an appellation? Is it when a chief is coming or royalty is coming?
Yo, mini abameda wasi bebre. Yaka anwen sema. Anwen sem ayen sema yetna se enwene e before da se ni bi ho. Na enye edwabo bia ase ene yaka anwen sem. Ohime bi ebe dwabase a itumika. Wobre bi ode hye eye dwabo kese bi itumi edeka. Awaregiem anwensem ewo ho. Ahinsie ewo ne dia yede ma. Eyiyo enso wo ne dia.
Ade ne eyiyo.
Funerals.
Eyiyo. Nye eyiyo. Okay, we learn. Okay, sure. Eyiyo. Okay, so that's when we are supposed to use the appellations. Okay, so for instance, if there's an event and the chief is coming to the event, let's take it a funeral. Okay. What are some of the appellations that if you were, what should I call you? That be your fellow saying events never now, but your fellow saying I mean Simra, and I say
Akuba, your tons of friend, you boom
it's to say, you say me a journalist, into wo way again. I can cast a I can cast an winsome. It's your four be over and winsome, son. I say, if you year, na say, or Henny be an also be a royal air bar. Which ones appellations be an AUC? And I didn't see AUC no more.
Say a year no, a year idea a bar. Only pay free to be a fufu, a could be a fufu. Into a cobasa, reho, actually, Nipano Soma. The Kobasa Obibi and now he be bad job on Asia. The head baby you free, Nentong. A bit to say, Coach, aboa bi di kochi amansa se boa di akwa ma wansan boa juwe ya hwehwe maami aye hunu na wo kwan ni o waye akwa jansa no wae akwa jansa wae aye abura kokwa tweso odenche bedeni mejana ntachi emenena ntachi mejana ntachi krunso no ko batane so abu dai mejana ntachi boni ameyawe na me ma odi bi mitwa ebi na buat ma woni e eta buat ma wonyini kwadu akochi sechire ade akochi mesechire sechire ma ba ne wan sechire he ma ba ne kwan pro buat ma aja ajoe ya ni hunu no yensanka na yedi aja ajoe ya ni hunu no yensanka o ye bedai.
Okay, so if you addition wa ukosua ye anase yetiti wo fia ayi nkofo mo ye anyene sem wo ho anase how did you come abansa na usua ye
yo akua addition wa de me de me hyabere efri na so ma me fa na kokroso ensem no me ametena se na ma draft it me da me sonda ye me sorry na ma chuo nti me hu ne se e adoma chedi obi ye doctor na adoma chedi no
na yampa se before events bi sababa na spirits bi e de yi ne be mama mo mama appellations na yampa na se
pastor spirits bi aseni spirit bi aseni yen senfo bi na obekeka de abom it be bompa ye asre nyame e se adoma chede a wodi ama wodi a omma hu nyasa ene kwan a obefa so a obetwiro ayama ye nipa fe entrase e wade na wo ye
Inti to say so ahemfo na say obi royalty e buy event ya man appellation na enye wo ho aden na say appellation. What does it signify to the Ashantis, the appellations? Yeah.
Ya santimem die oba ya santimem a anwensem ya de ehu hie yi pa empani say yofudu ya pa no na yepia no na say titu abebi o woni say di fofo ya de friend yo pito ya sanso tumi friend sisire kwabrafo ene yentu eni nkowe kumase yenhwe de openso na say titu abebi wa ye kumase empani say de opa de kokotoko no yenye na bro enti sakoba sa say onimonyamfo say kukrufunu okukodrufo say bedwam yentu mi hwe ne sa enti na bondi agije wentwe bo tata na woni bibi ye hwe anwensem kurampo a bible mu anwensem wo oni Solomon
yes empa
na obonya mensam
right okay inti sisi awa ma ye hu say wo de no otro but then your sense your research bi na ye hu say they say big events to sakwisi day ne other big events no e wo hodada appellations wo ha e so can wait time we so can wait time we and no one dey yampa inti yampa so our research is right inti explain my and then time e say can we and I say can we and so can we you see the old chair and the asante muye wasante mine yeah
me ba show you mesre abedwafo say e betan ya sopa ani eti anwensemi
sharp
akura ene ne matnase no muti kwaye biase na dako no mane eye na adwense okwa pe aduane aba oba tan de wo ho awa wani chia ama one ne mana bidi wokoye no ena fofia ntoata obi di ababo no no wuye na wo wuye no ne mana twen na se ye maame beba me aduane ye maame beba me aduane omo maame mmada eti bre kura ma no kakran be duru kwan ho a omo ti ano mebi sun awoko no ena omo ka se anoma wukwe enkra me krawi na sa obese ni na sa obeka bekani ani mesi ne mewu meka ne mewu okwa asiri we sechire jama se na mana seni na mana seni nsani akuturuku ne nsani akatraka wakari sikanta sama sante maji adie sika yedi yenu yo ekonume odumde modum we chamfo na ye frɛ wa bro enti anoma wo kono nkura ne de nkra e ma no so omko a onka nchi omo ma me sese omo da aseni ni sai nti ye hwa na se titu abebi obedi akonwa yi na ye obi odo obia na asem otaka ye me den se nipa ni begu asede ye meska enfere poto obi a odwi nipa ho na me din kan no asante mem enwuma bebre wo oyo obi a nani nso ku enwumesua ho yi
say that I said and can know but ni can from
he's 6 okay to education
okay so he's an advocate for education to say the historian they can say your church letters because we go to school near the came back
to cause yin sem ya ye ken ye bono ebra oni bi ebe edwam e de kire say ye dan no ekura ne man ye hwe a omo maame no e na koba say ekura ni fia okura ni fia ekura de ye de afusani right akoko ba tan so ni ma bedi tina chese ohinkro no osombo e de ma
okay na ayensem no say o kan na say o recite here as a say teacher obi obo drums ne friend na say dey
your friend no twene atumpan ba ko ye oba ba ko ye brema sound no ba ko modu ba ko so e da fomboko
nti say o kan anyensem na teacher say obi obo twene no kan ho na say na say obetumi aye without twene no
obetumi aye without twene no ba pempin so wo ye na wo kire ma e kan ho a e mankofo hu say wonnim adwuma no de wo ye
and my anyensem new one na fa GTV shemu na ye hwe say e bitu mu ana kasa di na no ana
wonyankopon kwa me no Primo ankamati kasa woso abramo eja kokko ba tan we firi wo ma awre ba ni konton sutra sa yeso yakopon udini okese osajefo oduma kuma bobi ma from ma meye okonto mi fanfa ka bo so jamponsem kwakunyini mintiminim Jankuku sasawi asa jambi binyame no PSC obi ni mu abosuo obi ni wanim obi ni wachi oduma kuma nyame obo ya ba asasi so no bonsuo bo abode bonsuo bo nsase bo oduma kuma chira mama yen Dom ye nyansa ni nimdi ade bebu ya my Ghana eni nti nipa dwemu ye CGBC eno ne ena GTV adodo na ani na anim no mesra nyansa ne nkwatenten de madwuma yefo wo mu na boa me yete kase e ba ekoso wi ase afa na ani na ne santi GTV mpenimfo ni na monkwaso pia
oh that was beautifully done. Thank you. We also know that there are some very prominent words that people from Ashanti people use. For instance, Ashanti Bibiabe Kasa. Yeah, we have friend here go so na international producer Cynthia. Ombe Kasebi or te kokoso nana. We know there are prominent words Ashanti for use here. You almost did one cry ha. A bit to say, open me my examples and correct pronunciations of those words. Na and the Mishama Madam now for no way Santa Pona. Na me no more.
Yo, me don't for me do I see the breed. Na the tin say. What's it kokoso nana no yenka emfa nhunahuna mu na de tene say ye hene no sombo maye pa ye ka opem so nana say titu a nana wa mu apiafo o nana anopai me ma wache hu be ma be ye bi di abo asanteman efiri ye papa opoku ware epenso omo ye nkofo bi a na say himfu bi a omo ba asanteman mu no asanteman koso nko a na wohwe eja omutumi ni ahwowo etna omukuro enye easy esa se mpeni si ye de ahwowo ene chichire ye mai nkuro bi wo na ukoso a wasam mfo obi asem kura ba ye si o wakwa ahimfie no we dey we asantini ntino ne aye ne bibi truka na de ontesa ne se nti utisa okani bi e kase ne ye ote kokko so na no kwasem na chese oni oka ye ka gudi a enti ube wa santini ba bia be me be bia no na opadwuma na ni bradwuma because ye no wo hwe yase a ye ni ba bia ye free enti dia ye wo no eni ani je ho epepi no ye hwa dia afoforo ye de e na koba se de eni kura no ye bia ye sa ye nim fifire bre ye nananom penso ansa na ye nya na koba se de ye sa ye nim fifire nso abre no bi person se na ye nka hwe na emum ye jai ma twedi ampon kwa me pase ye do
inti sisi a ye nim ye watch ye ote kokko so na watch ye ase ni di nti a ya something down for mo kasa my fofo so no so ye popular the nti a mo kasa and when it should be used.
Okay, asante kasa ni emu enchechire mu no kasa ni bebre wo ho a ye nka ni yi
my a few examples
mahwiase ose matiahwe
so
atendie mahwiase ose matiahwe is wrong.
Okay.
Matiahwe oh mahwiase abofra na hwiase watiahwe ye ka atenidie ye nka edidi atem
kandium
atenidie mo na ye ka edidi atem oya kasa mu na sa wo ba ye krom na wo kasa sei na ankoyi a yesusu se bia nipa sa no ne mpanimfo antina.
Okay, now last one before we jai say mo ka ya mu yese ni yese ya se chese de nche me ase
asante mem ya sane ye bibia
me ju paper ne ma because
o say obi sake so okay high enchia na what to the amount so dem opoku arepe ene na na sante ngin opemso ene betumi asa ayese aha ye media so aha ye media tu be sha erade muame na mi ntumi bo me akani bi sa no de ne sabom sei na chese ekro ye na ye umaye ni na ya nyakro empapa mu die enye enti wo sha so ken so ken wabo trigo
moye utini say na aseche say na moye na so dada
eyefe
na mo de mo koto de aye sisi anu so
mo ni ani bi o sako hini bi animu a so ho e kire ni bi a wo de mo hini no so ho mutumi nko hini anim zo dedi obuo ni ani bi so na na me down so ho koko so ho na de ko hini anim so ho koko
and then you watch ye off camera na watching if I need who was social media and go to me after now maybe so now watch church mo akan appellations asenia maniama where do we find you on social media
me pasho oko Instagram MC pages o download dia ubenya
MC pages
PGS
nti e hope na ye be hu
me pasho official mechira kwan so akọ National Theatre de bere ni me okojo olunso aye office ho odoko nso obetumi anyame ho
mo of patrol group ni efre mo say
patrol efre ahwene pankasa dance ensemble
pankasa dance
on MC Barrels.
Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I have been so impressed.
Okay, because we are still celebrating the Ashanti.
Eka adia bako. Ya ka anyen nsemo a se na edi nkan kan ye no. Enye ayi ase, awareji ase, party ase nko a, organizations kwekuo ye betumi di amount. Kasa fato ho. Simple. Eto de na eto ye sika ye gigi free ankrankran nwuma ye fo ho. Abanyu ma ye fo na wo gigi sika e ma ankrankran fo. Empepe ye to je ho hihye ya. Nipa bebe nyinyi bosu jetire gu aban so. Na so ntisa. Eto je nam ne kwan so di mpumtu obro no. Yesu Kristo fo eto je so bra Pharisee fo ni busa ne se owura yes, yeah, Jito, because he will say, Ufa Kaiser. Yeah, can we say Ghana Sika Sembe College? I mean, you know, for my individual too. And child, and I let them make Mamma share with you 4 years to Jay and what she say. So I to Jay, you shall say, one night cash a year to see a Purano, what to two so much. Now, one night cash a year to free what it says. I feel like you want my wish see an Purano, a Purano, and what my more. So good that you will be a
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching.
Couple week, hashtag, and see us tomorrow, God willing, for another installment.
Wow.